Welcome to the show, everybody. We got another great show lined up tonight for everyone out there. And as you can see, the show has started off with a lot of drama already. We got my man Sean Hollis in the house. We got another guest in the house, and then we have the one and only, you know who he is. Everybody's been waiting for him. The man from Trinidad, the man that tonight came on board and caused him pure bacchanal. Anyways, I just want to say something before we get started. Last week's show was pretty much like on fire. As the kids would say, last week's show was fire. And for me personally, I enjoyed that show so much. I got people who called me and they were like, "Yo, D, uh, they love that show." I don't know what it was, but maybe perhaps there's some people who just resonate with some and some people that just got that thing with people. Mr. Hall,
It
how
was
was
it,
how was
it
the week? How was the show last week? And why are you wearing those big grunt things on your head?
I'm trying to hear you better. That's why.
Oh,
I have trouble hearing. I'm getting old. The show
well,
last week was I, it was so far our best show with views, but it was the craziest show we've done. But that's Patrick. He's he's kind of a, I want to say crazy, but he could get things he could get things going.
well,
That's all I can say.
I've been listening to a lot of people during the week who not listen, well, listening, yes, because you gotta listen. You gotta listen. So I was listening to some people and they were like, "Yo, the show was just nice." I'll tell you something, man. People is people, and there's just the people that love the people, if you get what I mean.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
it's just amazing how when the people talk, how the people respond. And
mhm.
for some people, I keep using people all the time. They're just drawn in by some, and that's amazing when it happens. And I guess that's what separates those out there, like the Maradonas. Somebody
Mhm.
online said, that's the real difference with like Pele and Maradona and those type of guys because there's something about them that attracts. And I think Patrick Husband is one of those kind of guys, and just stands out. Anyways, that was last week's show, so we on to this show. And we on to the Trini this week, and when the
Things are
Trinidadian
going.
come on set, it's pure bacchanal this year. So that was going on right now. And so before we get the show started, is there anything you want to say? I know you talked a lot just now, and we got a guest who actually wants to say something, just to talk on the great man himself. But is there anything you want to? I
Man,
don't
I
really.
no, no, I don't listen. This show with Emile Ramsammy, I want to hear what Emile Ramsammy has to say. He's one of our great writers from the Caribbean. He started in the 1980 till now. He's still writing, and he's he's won championships in Canada, Queen Splits. He's won everything almost, and over 2,000 races. I want to hear this man speak tonight. This is a hero of mine from a youngster because he started a year of us. But myself and Ricky Griffith were in the writing school in 1980 for the Christmas meet. I never forget. Emile Ramsammy and Von Charles. All the guys in the writing school were looking up to him back then. You know what I mean? And it went right through our career, the 80s, writing with him and that kind of stuff. So let's go, man.
Is he good to go? Because we were having some technical difficulties just now.
I, I was hearing him. I was hearing our interview just now when I spoke to him. So I'm hoping that he's good to
He's
go.
good to
If
go.
not,
If he's good
I'm
to
hoping.
go, he can nod his head and say yes, and I can see him right here. Ah, there you go. Nodding
Yes.
head backstage is good. Anything else is bad. So we don't want to see anything. But before we get the show started, man, we got somebody who wants to come on board and say something about the great man himself. So let's welcome him to the stage.
Chris
Chris.
Griffith. All
Good
right.
evening. Good night, gentlemen. Let me say congrats on the show. It's been quite a buzz going around. The last few shows have been informative and let's just say entertaining. So congrats on that. And thanks for letting me come back and finish my story about Emile. That when I was on, we started talking about Emile and then we got sidetracked and I didn't really get to go back to the story about how Emile was a big influence for me. So
Yes.
thanks for letting me finish off that story. So let me
No
get to it.
problem, man.
Like we were talking about, it was in the section, it was the part of the show we were talking about frustration. And I had said one of the things that had kept me going when I was at the height of my frustration was watching Emile, because for as bad as I was having it, he was having it 10 times worse. And I would tell you guys, and don't take my word for it, when later on, go to Equibase and see for yourself. You can look at any of the riders from the islands that went to Canada and the ones that, the guys that eventually found some kind of success. You could look at the start of any of us, me, Patrick, Quincy, whoever you want to look at. And I would tell you, nobody, none of us had near the rough road that Emile had to go through. Emile road, you go back and check Equibase, the first 2-3 years, I guarantee you Emile won 15 races. And this is not a guy that's starting out the bug boy. Emile was already a
Champion.
national hero in Trinidad.
Yeah.
So for me, when I was getting really frustrated, every time I would feel like I want to give up, and I would look at Emile, and it would keep me pushing. Like, man, if he can keep going with the way he getting treated, I remember there's years Emile win one race, and I mean, like, so for me, it was that sort of thing was inspirational for me to keep going. And as far as jockeys, I was saying that Emile's like almost a complete perfect jockey, because he have it's not just the riding skill, it's the dedication, the weight control, the likability, like just everything. And on top of that, of all the jockeys that I know, Emile is Emile is definitely the most charitable jockey I've ever been around. And when I say charitable, I don't mean tax write-off charitable, because in North America, after you make a certain amount of money, you get taxed more. So your accountant might say, well, look, you got all this money, you're either going to give it to the government or you can give it to a charity, which is, for the guys that do that, that's admirable. But that is not the same. That kind of charity for a tax write-off is not the same type of charity that I'm talking about. And I'm sure a lot of the people that are going to be watching this show tonight could probably attest to this. There's hundreds and hundreds of people that I know that Emile has helped around the racetrack. And like I said, I'm not talking about tax write-offs. I'm talking about right out of pocket charity or gifts or just something. This man is known to many, many people for being extremely generous, maybe even to a fault. He's that generous. And that is to me, that is true charity. Tax write-off charity, that is nice, but it's not the same thing. When you actually giving something that you're not having it, you're just giving it because you want to. That's the type of man Emile is. The definition of a champion is supposed to be somebody that surpass rivals in a competition, like a sporting event. And I would tell you, Emile to me is the definition of a champion, because his determination, the struggles that he went through, and the struggles that Emile essentially went back to being an exercise rider when he came to Canada. He had to start from scratch. Like I say, you go look at all of us that went up there and did well, and look at the first 2-3 years. All of us, with the exception of Emile, we had a little struggle, but we were winning. Look at Emile record and you see this man really, really had it hard. Like, there's none of us that can compare to the struggle that he went through. And to me, that is why I always have a lot of respect for Emile. So enough said. I'm gonna sit back and watch the rest of the show.
But before you go, Chris, man, thank you for those kind words. But don't leave yet. At least say it to him. Let him come on board, and you can talk to him for a minute
And I
or
thought,
two. Warm inside is all that matter.
yeah,
That's all that matter. Oh man, I was talking to somebody today. They were telling me about technology now in 2022, and how who would have thought that we would have been on to this kind of technology. Somebody from Barbados was saying, it was like 20 years ago they were just underneath the turbine tree just playing draft. All of a sudden now they're in a house watching a computer.
yeah, that's right. And you can, it's very mobile. Everybody got a computer right in your hand on your phone, right?
So, Chris,
Oh man,
Yeah.
I don't know.
do
I
you
don't know
have
if he's
any
good to go.
do you have any Emile Ramsammy moments you want to share?
No, I just wanted to talk to him. I just wanted to talk about, him as a person, like, because I know Emil for a long time, and I I know he's not the type of person that gonna mention a lot of the things that he's done for other people. And I really
Mm,
wanted to talk about the how charitable he is, and specifically about, like I said, out of pocket charity, where you actually giving somebody something just out of the goodness of your heart. Not,
mhm.
I'm not talking, a lot of the guys, like I said, a lot of the guys, when you make a certain amount of money, your accountant would always tell you, well, look, you could either give this to charity or the government gonna take it. So, like I said, which is fine, but
Mhm.
to me, that's not true charity. True charity is that you see an exercise rider that needs some boots, or they're struggling, or somebody needs a helmet, or like, just, and
Mhm.
too, Sean, even like, the Raptors, it's like Emile's just a guy that was
Yes.
always
I
giving. And I don't want to tell other people's stories, but I know I've had countless people tell me about all the things that Emile did for them. And
Mhm.
a lot of people don't know that. People just see him, as a jockey, and Emile, the riding highlights will speak for themselves.
Mhm.
You could Google Emile Ramsammy, you can see everything he did. But I just
Mhm.
want to talk about the things that you won't find
Nobody
on
want to know.
Google. And for me personally, like, the way he inspired me to, like, just that determination to keep going.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because I doubt there's I honestly, I would have to see somebody do what Emile do before I
Mhm.
believe that they could do it, coming from the position he was in, from
Mhm.
being a champion in the islands and going to Canada, and then essentially having to be an exercise rider. I mean, there was
Mhm.
years where Emile was barely riding, and I
Mhm.
don't think very many of us would have had the mental strength to keep going the way he did. And for me, when I was struggling, when I was a grown up, that was something that used to keep me going, because I was just a bug boy, just learning. And I always figured, well, if he could keep going with the level of, in my opinion, with the level of disrespect he was receiving, if
Mhm.
he can keep going, then I had to keep going too.
I mean, he's gonna tell a story, but I mean, I feel like I want to ask you so much, but I feel that you want him to tell a story too, right?
Yeah, I know. I had my turn already. I just wanted, like, like I said, when I was on the show, I started talking about, some other writers, and I started talking about Emile, and we got sidetracked, and we started talking about some other stuff, and we didn't end up coming back to it. So I just
Mhm.
wanted to put that out there, so, like I said, so people know the man behind the jockey, because people see jockeys, but
I
we're
think
not.
he can hear us right now, so I'm gonna ask him if he can hear us. If he think he's good to go, just give me a thumbs up and let me know so we can get him in. Just a thumbs up. I see his lips are moving. Maybe he's not talking to me or us. Okay, he looks like he's giving some direction at home, like a true man in the house. He's in charge
I
there.
mean, I think I think the when I had done the show before, I had a little bit of issues getting on too, but I think it had something to do with the browser or something.
Mhm.
Oh,
I had to end up using Chrome. I was trying to use um, the Safari on Apple, and I had to end up using Chrome because it wouldn't work with the
I
other.
see. Well, I think with what I'm finding out is the more and more you use these things, get pretty comfortable. So after a while, you don't have to. It's like second nature. So I don't
You
know.
gotta remember too. You gotta remember too. Emile no spring chicken. These old people with technology. These old people are technologically challenged too, right?
Well, I didn't want to put him out like that, but Chris, I think you got a spot in on TV or something, a comedian kind of.
I, I say it, man. He far from me. I a long way from him. He can't come up and he can't come up on stage and slap me like Hobo Smith slap Chris Rock.
And you just ask if you could hear him. Try and see if you could hear him.
Well,
Just
let's.
ask.
I'm gonna add him to the stream right now, and you
Yeah.
just gotta fix the screen, Emile. Listen, that was funny. That was funny. John told me that if that phone didn't dead, that man
you
would have
still
gone till about 2 o'clock.
you still be talking. No, listen. Nobody can talk like Pat. Nobody can talk about Pat husbands like Pat.
Oh man, that's all
Anyway,
good.
listen. I gonna buzz out and I will come back and see how the show go. Okay.
Okay, well,
All
that's all
right.
good. We'll talk about some other stuff. Meanwhile, we'll add Emile again and see if he's ready to go. Thanks a lot, Chris, and thanks for the kind words.
All right. Keep it going.
All right, so we'll add him and see how it goes.
All right.
Are you ready
Hello.
to go?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, finally.
All right,
Oh,
Norman.
Hallelujah.
goodness.
Hallelujah.
Let's roll. Let's roll.
All good. All good. Yeah, let's get the show on the road.
Welcome to the
Yes,
show, my
buddy.
brother.
I'm always on the lead, but this time I'm trying a different coming from behind.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't realize you were so aware of that.
Hi, Derek. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you too.
Same here, man. I'm sorry we didn't get to formally
Yeah,
introduce ourselves because the whole audio
yeah.
situation, but better late than never.
Better late than never. Yes.
That's right.
That's right. So I'm gonna let Sean Hall do his thing first because you guys go way back.
Emile Ramsammy, you have been one of our greats for so many years. You started your career as everybody loved you. I remember back in the day, you and Von Charles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Tell
remember
me.
back when I first saw you and Ricky Griffith and your
Yes.
English jumpers stand out.
But what I want to know from you, what the show is about, your journey. We know we got your connection in Guyana. You got
Yeah,
to Trinidad. I want to hear how you started getting into the horse racing industry from your days in Guyana to Trinidad, my brother. Hit me.
well, my racing career or my life as a jockey is what when you hear people talk of a fairy tale story, is a true fairy tale story.
Mhm.
I was never involved in horse racing at all. The only thing I know about horse racing is they run races to win, and the only definition I know of a jockey is a definition of a jockey, somebody who rides for hire. And so my parents are Guyanese, but I was born in Trinidad.
Uh-huh.
At a young age, we went back to Guyana. So I grew up in Guyana. I
Okay.
went to school in Guyana, and then in '78, the family moved back to Trinidad. And so in the process of going to, that was November 78. So I went to the Ministry of Education to find out about getting into school because I was a very bright kid at school.
Hmm.
So I didn't mind. At 14, I was ready to do O levels, like we know O levels, what O levels in Caribbean. And so I didn't mind taking a year off and going back to class in a new country, so to speak, learning their culture and their
Yeah.
education system.
Right. Right.
So I went to the Ministry of Education, and then on the way from the Ministry of Education, my mom asked me to pass by and see my godfather. Now my godfather is named Emile Coury,
Hmm.
and I don't know, Sean, you may not know, but he had owned and trained his own horses. Hence the reason my name is Emile, but Emile is my middle name, and my first name is Patrick. And
Okay.
so I went by him and saw him, and he hadn't seen me since I was a little kid when I left Trinidad way back.
Excuse me a second. So
Yes.
Yes.
how you starting using Emile instead of Patrick? I
Well,
want to hear that.
it's gonna come about you. Um. So anyhow, so I met my godfather, and then all of a sudden he picked up the phone and start, he asked me about being a jockey. He said, good size, and I said, sure, why not? But the only thing I know about a jockey, Sean and Derek, is that a jockey, somebody rides for hire, da. So he picks up the phone, he started calling around, and then at the time, I think it was 1978, to become a jockey in Trinidad and Tobago, you had to go through a government-run riding school. And then
Mhm.
somebody, you could think he called Edmund the Freitas first of all, and then Edmund told him so. And so then he called the racing authority, found out. As a matter of fact, they were taking applications. So I guess we had lunch after, and then after lunch, when we left, he sent me. I went by the ministers, by the racing authority, and said, as a
Mhm.
matter of fact, they were taking applications. So I got an application form and I filled it out, and they called me back before the Ministry of Education ever did.
Okay.
And that's how I became a jockey. And meanwhile, I started buying books, trying to read and find out more about jockey. But I never ever been to horse. I never been to the savannah, watch the racing, or all I did was watch what I could see on the TV. I think every Sunday you should replays, and that was
I,
it. But
I read somewhere that somebody said that you never was interested in horse racing until you went to Guyana. And after that, then, that's when it all, happened. Is
no,
that true?
I don't. I'm hearing that for the very first time because I was always in Guyana, so to speak, as from a
Mhm.
little kid, from 3 years old to 16.
Mhm.
When I left Guyana, came back to Trinidad. And the only time I get interested in horse racing is, like I said, I went to the Ministry of Education, saw my godfather after, and he started asking about being a jockey, called the racing authority, and then I went by, and that was it. And then so the racing authority called, I went and did their application. We had a little test to do, which I did, boom, boom, and in a blink, they called us back and said you're accepted in the riding school on April and 17, I think it was. And then April the 19th, 1980, 79, sorry, I went to the riding school. And when I went to the riding school on that day, it was the very first day in my life I ever saw a jockey or a rider on a horse, on a thoroughbred racehorse with a saddle. And it was amazing to me. It was really amazing for me. So I'm all astonished. And, now everybody else that went, it was three of us went together. And all these guys had been in the races and been around with. So I was amazed, and I was astonished. It looked great, and as the first time I, like I said, I ever saw a thoroughbred racehorse with a saddle and a rider on it.
So weren't you scared that, I mean, like most people, like when I go to work, people scared of geese. A horse is much bigger than a goose. Sorry. Can you explain how you got on top of a horse?
No, so I was so excited. I mean, I couldn't wait to get on a horse. I couldn't wait so for the tutors to, and I really think what helped me along in my profession and and did as good as I did because I had no knowledge of the sport.
Mhm.
I didn't know. So what the tutors taught me, that's what I knew. So I had no bad habits. Unlike say like
Mhm.
Sean, like you've been around the track, you've seen people riders ride in. So then you say, even though you're being taught, you figure, well, oh, I seen this guy did this. So I had none of that. I never been around it. I never been to the races. I never been on a horse with a saddle. So what the tutors taught me, Tommy Carter and Shafiq Mohammed, is what I did. So I
Mhm.
had no bad habits. I did. So I thought I will be able to say I learned it correctly. I had nothing. They showed me what to do and how to do it. That's what I did, and I think that was the main part of my success.
So is it safe to say that you are natural because I mean, by 1980 you were a rock star already.
It was exactly 1 year.
Yeah.
I was riding my first race. On April the 19th, 1980, I was riding my first race. I mean, and the first day I got on the horse and we went around, they make you jog and pop the side, like we said. So then we come back and everybody, I'm waiting to hear the comments. I'm kind of walking around mocking stalls and waiting to hear the comments. And then they said, "Oh, that Ramsammy kid, he looked of the three guys, because three new guys came in every time. So of the
Yes.
three guys, he looks the best. He sat that or that." So
Mhm.
I'm all perked up, and feeling good about it.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah, and and
Bertrand?
besides that, so the first time I ever breezed a horse. So in the riding school, you go through stages. We had 12 horses in the riding school area, and like Sean, you would know, and horse people know, every
Mhm.
horse is a different athlete. So they kind of hold the bit and travel different. So they would alternate you on different horses, stronger, different, weaker.
Mhm.
So that you learn to ride on the proper way. So
Mhm.
and after you think you did so well, you're very reach a stage where you think you can breeze.
Mhm.
You reach a stage where you get to breeze. So they put three of us together, and we got about 5:15 in the morning. The track is dark,
Mhm.
and this is on the turf track where we breeze usually.
Yes.
And my first breeze ever. But you remember we were young and we want to, even though you breathe, even though you learn to push, they want to see you push.
Yes.
I we all want to win. So I think I was on the best horse. And as we left 3 shades of a mile, as we left the tree, it's full breezing on my horse, and I'm winning. So I'm just driving. I remember distinctly well. That my saddle slipped, and I could feel it rolling. But I just didn't worry about it. I just wanted to win. So I just kept going, and I went right over the horse's neck. And it's the first and only time. When you say you hit and you see stars. That's, I think, is the only time I ever see stars blinking like crazy. And then I broke my left collarbone, and that
Whoa.
was it. I had 6 weeks off, and then I came back and continued.
Well,
Wow.
yeah.
Your riding
Even though,
school is in Union Park, right?
yes, Union Park in Marbella,
Mm.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
There you
Yes.
go.
I
To
remember
answer
those
your
days.
question, viewer.
Remember those days.
You
Wow,
know,
man.
Emile, what I'm seeing right now that you got so much fans. You got lots of fans, people who love you for all different types of reasons. And before we got the show started, Chris has so many good things to say about you. And when he was on the show, he himself was about to tell us all these nice things about you. But obviously, we had time constraint here. So,
No, I
you
represent
know,
them so well. Thank,
huh?
thank you so much, Christopher.
Yes. Not only Chris, I mean, there's so many other people that say so many good things about you as you wander around the city. If anyone ever go to the racetrack, you might hear some nice words sometimes. But I just want to say, I want to talk about Emile Ramsammy, and I want to talk about your experience as a Caribbean man, riding in Trinidad, riding in Barbados. And that's the only two I know about. I don't know if you rode. Did you ever ride in Jamaica?
I rode the Red Stripe race. I think I've been there twice. Once in a jockey championship and once for the Red Stripe. So I
Mhm.
did rode there. I never won a race, but I rode.
Mhm.
What are the tracks like compare to well, not to Canada yet, but let's talk about the Caribbean for now.
Mhm.
Compare Trinidad track to Savannah to Barbados track.
Well, back in the 80s in Trinidad, we had 3 tracks, so it was kind of nice, kind of moving ground, so to speak, and taking on the different tracks. So it was. I really enjoyed that part of Trinidad racing. In the 80s when we had the three tracks. We'd have a summer meeting here, and then we have a calypso meeting and a spring meeting, so to speak, and then the winter Christmas meet. So, and we all look forward to different meets and likewise trainers. And Barbados, I mean, we guys still have a garrison which still exists. But in the 80s we had a owners. We had quality horses. I would say compared to now, we had much more quality horses,
Mhm.
and the racing was great. The racing was super. I mean, I enjoy racing in the Caribbean in general between Barbados and Trinidad. I really enjoyed it. And I guess I would say Barbados was a. I really did enjoy Barbados because during the Calypso, the carnival time, you race in Barbados, and you know, and there's no racing in Trinidad because of the carnival. So I would spend that 6 weeks in Barbados, and where I had good fun and made a lot of fans and had a great time.
What I want to ask you about, especially your, I mean, everybody as a jockey have ups and downs in racing, but somebody brought to my attention you won the Derby on a horse called what's her name?
Skyrocket, skyrocket.
Skyrocket.
Yeah.
You won the Triple Crown with her, and then you were taken down one time for one of the English riders, and you were very upset about it. Talk about that.
Well, I mean, Sean, you were a writer, and you went over, especially in islands. Comparing you also wrote a little bit out, and you had some experience out in North America, where it's different. In in the islands in the 80s, I mean, you can ride a horse today and win with it, and you weren't sure to ride it back tomorrow.
Yes.
And
But I thought that used to only happen to guys like me, not you though.
yeah, I know that didn't take you off to put me up.
So that's why
Oh
I'm so
man.
shocked to hear the story because
Yeah,
I didn't think Emile Ramsammy had to go through those types of stuff.
yeah. You know, Miss Joe Hadid once told me, I think the best trainer owner I ever wrote for in my career until now. The guy, we had a great relationship, and he was so genuinely good to me. I get on the horse in the morning and never ever tell me how to ride a horse. Just
Hmm.
leg me up and wish me good luck. I think
Hmm.
over the years, of all the horse I rode for Joe, I can only recall one horse. I keep trying different things, and then he said, Emile, maybe we should try something different. A horse
Hmm.
called Flashpoint. He said, let's just drag her out to the race and see, and it worked. But
Hmm.
otherwise, that never ever told me to ride his horse. And then I remember one time, Mr. Roland Khan, who I won the goes the
Yes,
cup
call to
for
come.
with
Call to
calls
come.
will come.
Yes.
He had a bunch of horses, and I was spending all the time getting them every day and getting them ready for their first race in Trinidad. And when entries time came up, Joe called me and said, Mr. Khan wants to use Brian Harding. I was so ticked off, and I didn't get on the horses. And then he coming, he said, I want you to get me that. He said, and that's what he said. Until this day, I keep referring it, telling young guys,
Hmm.
when he said Emile is the owner's prerogative. He's paying the bills every day, and if
Hmm.
he wants to write A, B, or C, it's his prerogative to write who he wants to write.
Hmm.
And that stick on me until it's now. And just like I'm saying this to you, I
Hmm.
say to writers every year, to quite a bit of guys every year.
Hmm.
And they're
Hmm.
paying the bill, and it's their prerogative to write who he wants to
Right.
write.
Hmm.
And and then one day I beat that call to Congress horse at Christmas meeting in President's Trophy with Jerovian. And the
Hmm.
next morning, Joe called me and said, Mr. Khan would like you to ride Calder Kong in the Gold Cup. And that was it. And then me and Mr. Khan became so close.
Uh-huh.
He was like my dad. I could have called him Mr. Khan any day from any
Hmm.
part of the world and said, I want so and so.
Hmm.
And he would said, and it was no problem.
I wanna
Hmm.
I wanna ask you something when it comes to you becoming a jockey. I want to go back just a little bit.
Yeah,
And you said you had to go to training school. That's how you became a jockey, right?
yeah,
Now I know there's a bunch of guys in Barbados who just picked up riding. Sean can tell you. The list goes on. Who just hang around and just jump on a horseback, uh,
yeah.
walk walk horses to the beach and learn how to ride during that time.
I
Is
think
that?
it, I think that's a quite normal way the
Mm-hmm.
jockeys around the world. I think in North America is very much the same way too.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
There's absolutely no school, so
But
they just
yours
come
was
on.
unique. You went to training school for this.
Yeah, we had a, at the in the 80s, I think the school was open in 78, if I'm correct. And to become a jockey in Trinidad and Tobago, you had to go through the riding school. There's no
Yeah,
other
yeah,
way. Yeah,
correct.
there's no other way you could become a jockey
Mm.
until it was closed, and then it was open a couple more times, and it had the same procedure, but I don't know how it went along. And then, and I've been in North America for about just over 30 years. And a rider in North America, whether Canada or United States, I would say it's only recently they have a couple coming through a couple of schools, but they usually come around the racetrack, they walk horses, they get around, then somebody say, oh, you look small enough, maybe you can be a rider, and that's how it happens.
Wow.
Like
That is true.
like I heard Chris saying, and thanks again, Chris, with compliments. Like I've been doing this show, for just over 40 years. And
Mhm,
I've only put on, like sitting here right now, I would say 16 pounds. But prior to in my day, like 6 years ago when I business was much better, I put on 10 pounds in 40 years. So that's, show you, like Chris said, he's not kidding you. I tell you, so I am dedicated. Like, I mean, I'm obsessed with the sport.
mhm,
How do you
That's
do
what
that?
it is. Because this is what I like doing. It makes my day when I get up and go to the track in the morning and get no horse.
mhm,
So there's a lot of dedication. It's not just, and I do it proper. I don't, like in North America, there's a big thing where the riders are becomes bulimic and they heave. But like I
mhm.
always said to the guys, if you ever see me heaving, call a doctor because I'm sick. Yep.
But how
Hey,
do you
listen.
manage your injuries? 'Cause I know you had a lot of injuries over the years. I
The worst
know,
summer. Yeah.
and
You
I just
know,
want to know how do you manage it?
I would say a lot. Who has a lot of help? I would. Who does a lot to help me with it is Lisa, my wife. She
Okay.
really, yeah, she really does so much more behind the scenes.
Mhm.
You wouldn't believe, the kind of things. He says, all of a sudden I have a broken bone, and so she'd be loading me up with calcium like crazy, and a whole bunch of different things. But the like you hear, the older people said, you have to give it time. Even though you try to force yourself to come back, when
Mhm,
you're young, you're trying to push it to go through it. And then when you get older, you realize you really have to give yourself the time to heal.
mhm,
And like I always, and my one of my main phrases, when you fit and well, you bounce well. So
mhm.
I rode for 19 years, Sean, without breaking a bone, and had some spectacular falls every year.
Yes.
And then freakily one day in California, a horse just coming home just buck awkward,
Uh-huh.
and I broke a finger. And I mean, horses buck thousands of times with you over that 20
Yes.
years or whatever period. And the horse
Yes.
just buck and just kind of got my finger awkward. And I had 7 rides that day. The next year later that day, so I went down all Malibu, see some specialists. I had a little gadget made. I was trying to ride a nice horse, a first time starter. I had for Bob Buffer because at the time I was leading right out there in California,
Mhm,
in the California circuit. And I was riding everything for Bob. And I was trying to hang on to ride that horse of Bob, the maiden. And I think I rode 2 races. I won a cheap race. And the next one, I no, I think I won both that I rode, but I
mhm.
couldn't make it no more. It was bad, man. It would just blow up out of proportion. I couldn't bite the pain anymore. So and I gave it up. And the horse won like, impressively.
Mhm.
And then he ended up turning out to be a nice Calbred horse.
Wow.
Forget his name, Charlie something.
And that's interesting because that's how horse racing goes.
Yeah,
Patrick was saying last week that horse come and and jump up in the gate, and next thing you know, it's out of the race. And the same thing happened to you with your finger. How long
yeah.
did you ride in California for?
I just rode for just so I left in 7 and 9. Sorry, in '98 and '99. When I went to California, it's like a dream come true.
Mm.
I went to California, and the biggest circuit in North America, and took off. Can't do nothing wrong. I'm riding it, and then the Hollywood after the Santa Anita meeting start. Actually, the first race I rode in California, I went out to Golden Gate and rode a horse in 150,000 grass race and won it. So, and then that was the kickoff.
Wow.
Wow.
Christopher Time, I think it was Christopher Street. Yeah, it was the filly.
You know,
How much stake races you on out there?
I, I'm sure, like you said, in my house I don't have any racing picture. Only there's a couple hang up in the house there in Lisa's office.
is that a knock on Chris?
No, 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 no. I was telling Sean. No, but you go through most jockeys' houses, you walk in, you only see horses all over. There ain't no horse picture in my house, and likewise, those. Um, I was riding a lot of nice horses, and I was riding.
But how did you get to do that? How did you manage to just take off in California, just coming from Canada? Is
It
it
took off.
because of no, because you were champion twice in Canada? Is it because of that? Was that
Yeah,
Canadian
I
champion?
think it would have helped somewhat, definitely. And then I was light too,
Yes,
and Sean, like when you go and you start off on the right foot,
yes.
things just keep going. And then the
Mhm.
biggest nightmare, like Derek, like you said, Patrick was saying. So I was in the Hollywood spring meeting. I was 21 in front. Can't do
Wow.
nothing wrong. Everything I write, it was just even the press went crazy. They couldn't. I mean, it was berserker. Even the fans, like Sean would know, the fans in Woodbine here. I mean, they all. And then I came back. I came to Canada to ride a horse for Stronach, Euchre
Mhm.
for Stronach in the plate. I
Yes,
finished third.
yes,
And then the race after that, I fell and broke my right collarbone.
yes.
Well, a horse pick up the lead like he's gonna win and just snap a leg and yeah, and I broke my right collarbone and I went back, lost 6 weeks, couldn't get going again. Went back to California
Mhm.
and couldn't get going again. Hence the reason and that's how Victor Espinosa came on the scene. He took
Oh,
Okay.
all he took all my business. Yeah.
oh, okay. I heard that about somebody else last week too. Somebody said the same thing when somebody got hurt and then somebody came on. But we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Um,
But
what I was
what
going
does
to
that
ask
do
is,
to you, though? How does that? I mean, does that totally gut you? I mean,
Well,
after doing so
like
well.
well you can't let it bother you, you just have to turn the next page, like we say, you turn the next page and go on because if you think about it, you can be able to turn the page, you can close the book.
No, because I'm glad we into this because I have a good Emile Ramsammy story. I remember when you came back and Patrick was the man back
Yeah, yeah,
then. Patrick was the man. I remember I had a few nice horses, so you guys used to come around all the time. And I remember one day you got kind of angry. You know what I mean? You said, "Hon, every day Patrick. I can't get it right in here. Every day Patrick." You know what I mean? And I said, I didn't know what to say. And after we had a horse they called musical treat, a
yeah,
chestnut filly. I don't know if you remember her.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You remember
yeah.
musical treat? And you came by. You said, "See that horse there? Patrick's ride that horse bad every time. He ride that horse bad all the time. You need to ride her
Let it
like an
run.
English horse. You told me you need to ride like an English horse and put her in behind horses and produce her late, right?" You said Patrick have her too much on the pace. And I said, well, I had power back then to say, well, Mr. Ramsammy, if you feel that way, I I would give the call. Husband is down. And everything you said, I never forget that. Everything you said. You rode this horse twice.
Yeah,
Cover her up
yeah,
and produce her late. Barber. You know what I mean? That's when the
Yeah,
name
yeah,
was the barber was killing that kicking.
yep,
I was, yeah, you won two races back to back with her, and I
yeah,
always
yeah.
remember
Two nice races
coming
too.
back
Yeah.
real nice allowance races. And I remember it was all because of you were now trying to get back some business in
Yeah.
a Woodbine, but it was always tough, man, because every time you seem to get going, something seemed to happen. But I remember, always remember that. I always remember that horse, man. And you
Yeah,
tell me
no,
so.
that worked. Cause yeah, I remember distinctly well as you say that. Yeah.
The show gets really interactive, and someone was asking you, Emile. I don't know if it's a female or male, and I hope Lisa don't get mad if it's a female. But they're asking, how is your back?
You know that's been a bad rumor that's been going. I never ever in my lifetime had problems with my back. My back is always behind me. That is a that is a bad somebody spread a bad rumor, and I think I have a good idea who it is.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Oh
Sean,
dear. Oh
Sean.
dear.
Anyhow, but my back has does never ever had problems with it. I mean, like I I would my routine when I and a year when the racing start is only this year for the first time. This is almost this is April,
Hmm.
and I haven't reached. I do 1,000 sit-ups a day, Sean.
Yes.
So
Yes.
right now I'm about 350.
All right. No,
Yeah, so
it's
I'm
it's
getting
ve-
back.
it's
And
it's
I
very
was just saying just recently I was just saying to somebody the reason why I don't ever in my whole life ever had no problems with back. So long as your core is strong,
yes.
you will back. You have no problems at all with your back.
I always heard you say that, and we always knew that you
Yeah,
were one of the fittest guys in the room with your
Yeah.
workout regime is
yeah, no,
legendary,
Chris was saying
legend.
that over and over and over to
no.
us.
But
So,
I enjoy it. Like I look, I get up in the morning, Sean, before I go to track in the morning,
Hmm.
and I start back in last 3 or 4 weeks, and I do
Hmm.
350 in the morning before I leave here at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, yes.
And not just the easy up and down. The
The-
hardest one is the scissors. Yeah, and the
I think
proper. If I don't do it proper, I wouldn't do it.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
I think
Wow.
we want to go back to 1987 when you win the Gold Cup in Barbados.
Yes.
Just hang tight. We're just gonna go right back.
Lights are the other way. The Coxford Gold Cup 1987 is on the way. And the first horse to show in front is Green Man. It's Green Man, Bentom on the inside, Navarro Secundo is on the outside. And they come toward past the mile pole with a mile to run, and they're going at the most tremendous gallop down the chute the first time. And the leader on the inside is Green Man. Then comes Bentom. Paddy Bird is right there. Navarro Secundo. Lashanda's Devil on the inside. Ubique is there. Mail is right there. On the outside is Lashanda's Devil. Dinner Favor was the other one. Menites is the last one. Round the top turn they go. And Bentom has the lead on the inside now, along with Green Man. Paddy Bird is right there. Then comes Navarro Secundo and Ubique. Call to account is the next one through. Then comes Mail, struggling a little bit. Ubique and a good way back to Stangrave Park on the two Jamaicans. They go down now towards the 4 furlong marker. And the leader on the inside, Paddy Bird. Paddy Bird is the leader now as they go uphill, and she's gone well clear. It's Paddy Bird now as the leader from Green Man. Then Bentom is right there. Making some ground on the outside is Skyrocket. So too is Navarro Secundo at the top of the hill. And the leader is now Paddy Bird from Ubique. Bentom is right there, but he's struggling. They're coming back to the quarter mark, and the leader is Paddy Bird. Ubique is right there, then Bentom. Then I can see making ground on the outside is Stangrave Park. But they're coming back to the Savannah Court. And it is Paddy Bird, the Creole, with Ubique on the outside. Then Stangrave Park is the next one through. Bentom is beaten. So too is Call to Account. They're inside the final furlong. And it is Paddy Bird and Ubique. Bentom on the outside and Stangrave Park. But Ubique is going to take it, I think. Ubique and Stangrave Park. And here comes Stangrave Park to win it. Stangrave Park wins it now from Ubique and Bentom. Paddy Bird is fourth. Then comes Skyrocket. Then I Call to Account Green Man. The next one through is Navarro Secundo.
wow. That must brought
Emil,
back some memories.
John and Derek, after that
is
race,
that is,
I was a Barbadian citizen after that race.
and is that the beginning of the name Barbara?
No, I wanna believe because I like the Bajan said, I just shave him on the money.
So the Barbara is a Bajan nickname that we give to you as Barbadians.
Yes, that's because like I said, the, the Calypso time, and like you say, there's no race in Trinidad, and I spent that 6 weeks in Barbados, and hence the reason. And then I was always, I did quite well, like Sean, I did quite well.
Yes,
There's a
yes,
lot of races I was just coming from way out and just on the money. So they just shave,
yes,
like the Bajan said, just shave them on the line.
yes, yes, yes.
And especially
I
after that particular race where I got my Barbadian citizenship, where I just shaved the Trinidadian horse.
I want to ask you, out of those three Gold Cups that you won, which one was the one that you mostly enjoyed?
Obviously, I would say obviously the first one was and in those years, in those early Gold Cups, you can't compare to now Gold Cups. As Shawnee, you've been seeing the
no,
Gold Cups
no,
now,
no,
even in your
no,
time,
no.
even the Gold Cup you won is good. But then
Yeah,
in recent years, I mean,
went down.
in 80s back then when the Gold Cup, you ask every Barbadian what you doing on Saturday. Everybody going to the garrison.
Mhm.
Yes, yes.
Everybody. You couldn't even see grass. You didn't even know there was a grass field there. There was so many
So
people.
is it safe to say then, like for myself, is it one of the best feelings of winning a race that you could have? The Barbados Gold Cup back in those days?
Without doubt. Definitely without doubt.
And what makes it so special? Is it because of the atmosphere? Because it's a wonderful atmosphere.
Yeah. I think that's about that the tip it off. The atmosphere is so, I mean, is so
Electrifying,
that's the right word for it. Yeah. And
electrifying, man.
going into that Gold Cup, and even still now you could see, I mean, the kind of horses and owners and the people that come to it, even,
Hmm.
makes it
Hmm.
so much more nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
beautiful.
because so and wait, can I ask you this question then? Because you've won two Queen's plates, three Gold Cups. The feeling of Gold Cups is better than the feeling of a Queen's plate.
I would say definitely.
Really?
The atmosphere, you can't compare it. At least those Gold Cups in the 80s were electrifying,
Fine.
like you said, Sean. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
So I mean,
yes.
you got like thousands of Bajans right now who are like jumping up and say, "You see White Tower winner?" But I mean, but maybe they can add some money to the purse then, maybe some more money actually, and make it even more
Yeah.
electrifying.
But
I
but you
mean,
gotta admit though, Barbadian have so much passion for racing,
yeah, yeah.
and they throw that passion into those big races. It's become a real. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's
And now
different.
in recent years become so much international now. Look for the Gold Cup race. I
Hmm.
mean, all the top owners from worldwide wants to be part of it, you know?
Yes, yes, correct. Emile Ramsey he came to Barbados and he won a few times. I think he really liked what he
Yeah,
felt.
the whole atmosphere, yeah. It's not
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's the
Now
whole, go
I
ahead, Derek.
know I know there was a like someone posted something saying back then it was Barbados versus Trinidad versus Jamaica, Martinique,
Martinique.
and I'm just wondering,
Mhm.
was that the part of it that made the atmosphere even better? Like just having the different islands compete.
Well, it definitely did. It did add to the atmosphere without a doubt. Yeah, it because when you get to the garrison in the mornings prior to the Gold Cup, the week prior to the Gold Cup or 2 weeks prior to the Gold Cup, everybody's
A
is
block.
arguing, debating whether it's Trinidad or Jamaica. Well, Jamaica was really never in it. It was
No,
going to be
no.
always be Trinidad. Whether it's going to be Venice Richards or Patrick Osborne or Ramsammy or
Mhm.
Rajkumar.
Mhm.
That's interesting. You just say that you mentioned those guys' name because every time I think of Emile Ramsammy, I can't help but think of Venice Richards. It's just like when I think of Sean Hall, I think of Ricky Griffith. It's like just
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
those.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? I don't know why.
It's like Jordan and Pepin. And
That's very true. A 1-2 punch.
yeah,
No man. No, but back in the day, I mean, it was always a pleasure riding against them. You know what I mean? And you always had your followings, and it was. I think the rivalry too with jockeys back then. That it was so much that all you guys who rode in Barbados and Trinidad, you took your trade to Canada with
yeah.
great.
Something we did to ride myself and ride in between Barbados and Trinidad, and guys would come by and said, how rough we ride in the islands in Barbados and
Yeah,
Trinidad.
yeah.
And one thing I never did in my whole race in Barbados and Trinidad is I never you very seldom hear me scream,
Mhm,
get out my way,
mhm.
whatever. And then if you cut me off or whatever, you come back and you guys. So I always my policy is I ain't gonna say boo to you, so I can have you more puzzle. Then like I almost drop this guy and kill him, and this guy ain't say shit all to me. So now I have you more worried when you ride in the next race what I'm gonna do to you because you know what you almost did to me in the race before, and I didn't say boo. I just, but
Just let it run.
we all compete. Derek, in this game is such a brutal sport.
Mhm,
We're best of friends
mhm.
our whole life, and we're going along, and then for that 2 minutes when you're in the gate and the gate open, we're literally trying to kill each other.
That's interesting. You say that because
It's a brutal sport, yeah.
I've heard stories, Emil, of jockeys physically fighting at the Garrison Savannah. I don't know how true it is, but I've heard. Has that ever happened to you?
Well, I know I can get in the fight, I can run. I don't want to fight. No, but guys do fight. Yeah. I remember when I first came to Canada. This was where I know the first spring meet. I think it was. This was a Greenwood, Sean. So you know how
Yeah.
long that was.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I I was getting on all the horses on Mike, right? I was, and so then two horses came together in a maiden race. Black Ruckus and forget the other horse's name that I rode. So it's myself and Jack Lozon, and he went. Mike decided the other horse was a better horse, and so Jack rode it. And then I get up and nail him. I shaved him at the wire, boom, and he reached over and he passed and he felt a punch at me.
Wow.
I don't remember that, Sean. Oh yeah, I'm quite sure. Anyhow, I nailed him on the wire, and then he reached over and he felt a punch, but I just moved
I
away.
heard, I've seen horses biting at other horses, but I didn't realize jockeys do the same thing too.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get angry and take off some in the heat of the moment. But that's the part of the sport that the top guys we just bite like you said. We bite our lips and keep our cool.
Mhm.
It was unlike we saw the Oscar there last night.
Yes. Yes. But now we're talking about Canada a bit. My biggest, I always wanted to know because I think it had to be one of your biggest disappointments in
Get
Canada.
a big forehead, Sean.
Who, you or me?
I get a big forehead.
You?
I, I wish you would put that hat back on because at your age and my age and you still got so much hair. Look at my head.
You see how thin I pulling it with my finger because it might fall off with a wig.
But
Oh man.
back in 1991, when I remember you were
When I just
struggling a
came
bit,
here
and you lost
with
a race on a horse called Deborah's
yes,
Victory.
yes, yes, Steve
That's the
Meyer,
one?
yeah. Deborah's victory, yeah.
Victory. And I remember the press. I don't know if you remember it, but the press was really, really rotten to
Oh,
you.
Yeah.
They're really. I remember I never seen it happen to a jockey before that the press actually wrote those type of stuff. How did you recover, come back from such a big? I mean, that back
I
then
know.
to me that was one of the biggest things I seen from one of our guys. That really, it hurt me at the time. It really hurt me
Yeah,
to
I
see that
mean the race, the
you had
form
to go
really
through that.
blew it out of proportion.
Yes, yes,
They knocked me all over for losing the race by losing my whip. But
yes,
I mean, if you like you said, if you're looking for an excuse, but there was an excuse. He lost his whip. He lost the race. It's simple, right?
yes.
So
But
anyhow,
I
they blew it out of proportion. But I mean, I took it hard. I lost the outfit and I lost a lot of business, and then I had to regroup. Like Sean, I
you went
stuck.
back for Erie, huh?
I stuck it out for a couple of months and I couldn't get going. I went to Fort Erie, and I think I ended up finishing third, and picked up and got going again.
Hmm.
I think I rode 6 and 9 winners on Fort Erie, third behind Steve O'Brien and Dale Hemsley,
Right.
and then I came back to Woodbine the following year, right? And that in those days we had 7 days. We raced 7 days. We raced Wednesday to Sunday in Toronto,
Yes.
and then Monday, Tuesday at Fort Erie. So
Right. Right.
I was going 7 days a week. And all the racing we had in Canada prior to 1996, I was the first rider in Canada to ride 1,000 races in a season.
Wow.
So I was pretty busy. Yeah,
Whoa.
At one track or is that different tracks?
the
All
first
over.
rider in Canada. Yeah, to ride 1,000 races in a season.
But I mean, is that at one
Um, I would
track
think
or
I think it might have been that was based at Woodbine. Yeah,
Okay. Wow.
and,
oh, a
and there's
thousand races at Woodbine?
here's another what trivia I could give you too. Northern Nansa won the Queen's Plate, right? And he's
Yeah.
the only horse that won it from the one hole. And the only other person who won from the one hole twice after that was Emile Ramsammy.
Well, so you
And
two
which
is
horse was that?
Well,
these
the
two
two
teams.
times I won the
Two,
Queen's Plate
these
from
two
the one
times I
hole.
won Victor
Victor
Cooley and
Cooley, yeah, and Eden Wall.
Either World. Yeah.
Well, well, we got video of you in the, I think it was the Shady Well Stakes back
Yeah,
Yes.
in
yeah.
Yes.
1991. I'm just
Yes.
gonna let it run and relive that moment all over again.
Yeah. No, a nice moment.
They're at the post. They're off in the Shady Well Stakes, all the way in good order. Ephesus. Now Deborah's Victory comes on in between fillies toward the inside. Morriston Bell and Seattle Moon. Now Deborah's Victory takes the early lead. Seattle Moon next to the rail is second. Morriston Bell third. That's Maple Lake gaining ground from fourth. Ephesus is fifth. Then Gold Bracelet and I'm Blonde 2. 3 furlongs to run, and Deborah's Victory has stretched her lead to 6 lengths as they approach the quarter pole. Maple Lake takes over second. Seattle Moon to the inside third. Morriston Bell fourth. Ephesus, Gold Bracelet, and I'm Blonde 2. It's Deborah's Victory at the top of the stretch. Deborah's Victory in front by 3 lengths. Maple Lake full out to catch her from second, and she's gaining ground on Deborah's Victory now. Here comes Maple Lake as they come to the 16th pole. Deborah's Victory staggering, and Maple Lake has taken the lead. Deborah's Victory digging back in. Maple Lake, Deborah's Victory coming back. Here's the wire. Maple Lake by a head in the Shady Well Stakes. Deborah's Victory.
That was a tough one, but
And not only that, I remember Emile taking off his cap peak and everything. You remember that, Emile?
Yeah, just
He,
rip off my yeah.
I mean, when the man like he was drunk and he ripped off the cap
Yeah.
peak and we start using the cap peak. I mean, it was I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I had to get it, man, but just to get out nose. I know Robbie King ended up winning the race, but he saw when when the fence
Oh,
line,
Yes, yes,
so
oh,
that
yes,
okay.
kind of encourage him even more
yes,
to
yes,
get
yes,
drive into a bigger drive. Like I would have done too,
yes,
got into even more of a bigger.
yes,
Even yourself, Chuck, because you rode, you know what
yes,
competition is like.
yes, yes, yes.
Like a jockeys, Derek, we are talking about, is the only sport where we all competing against each other and say the same dressing room.
Mhm,
Mhm.
We go and then we go and we try to kill each other, and then we come back in the same room,
mhm.
all friends again.
But I
Sometimes,
mean, that's a unique way to
Yeah,
live, work. But tell me how unique that is with doing it, come back to the dressing room and smiling and laughing and joking. But when you get out there, that
yeah,
fierce competition. Tell me
that's
about
what
that,
I'm
man.
saying. Yeah, it's uncomparable to anything. He said we're best of friends, and then for the 2 minutes where you get in the gate and the gate opens, we're trying to kill each other. We're enemies
mhm, mhm,
until after you pass the wire, or unless some infringement happening, it might carry on a little longer between couple guys. But then after that, you're good friends again.
mhm,
You
mhm, mhm.
can't compare. You can't find nothing to compare to where we all competing and then sharing the same locker.
Yes.
So it's
But
some
you
sort of
were a
sport.
two-time champion in the 90s. You were a two-time champion in the 90s.
Yeah,
Which
96 or 97.
jockeys
Yeah.
you really, yeah, which jockeys you really like really enjoy their rivalry? You know what I mean? Especially at
Yeah.
your height.
You know, the competition I think in the 90s was so it was good competition. It was very competitive.
Mhm,
And the thing about it is not like I enjoy winning, so it doesn't matter who comes to the plate. I'm gonna try and hit
mhm,
out the park.
mhm,
So
mhm, mhm,
so
mhm,
I
it
want
didn't
to
matter.
I want to ask you about like I don't know about back in the days because I saw that Gold Cup when you just stood off the pace and then your horse started running Stanley Park
Yeah, yeah,
like if you just got inside the race, but
mhm.
you are known to be out front. Like,
yeah.
is that your style now? Is that what people expect you to do, or is that
You know,
what happens?
and I get branded like that here in Canada, but if you look back at all my rides even in Trinidad, because I was always up. Right, but like I always say to young riders, I tell them, you say, if I should train horses, get another topic. If I should train horses at all, my only instruction to a rider is don't get in a fight with my horse or with your horse. Please take a little hold.
Mhm.
Because remember, you training them when you train them action, you train them in the morning. You want them to go there in the morning and work 5 furlongs in a minute. The trainers go out and you come back in and you're working 104 or 103, and they say what happened, and they're not happy.
Mhm.
And now when the gate
Mhm.
open, they
Mhm.
in the afternoon they want you to go 103, 104, and then in the mornings they want you to go in a minute. So, so the thing is, a horse. I think way too many races are lost by riders strangling the horses too much.
Mhm.
Way
Interesting
too
you
much.
say that.
Yeah. Because I
Um,
think if you let them run even, like the way, you take a little hole, yes, but don't get in a fight with them. Because man, when you think about it, when you get in a fight with the horse is losing energy as well as you also
Mhm.
losing energy. You getting tired and he's getting tired because
Mhm.
it's like driving a car with a foot on the brakes and a foot on the gas.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
See,
Mhm. Mhm. So
I
so
was going to
basically
ask
just
you.
let them roll comfortably within
Yeah,
itself.
you take, you like you throw them in fourth gear
Mhm.
and you have your hand on the handbrake.
I like
Just
cruise.
in case you need, not
But Emil, you were the man to know with the cross, the killer
yeah.
cross, killer cross. Where that come from, man?
You know,
You were doing
you
that.
know, yeah, that who inspired me to do that is and he still does it. He was my idol when coming to that, and that I picked it up and I brought it. I think I brought it to Canada, and that was my way in Trinidad too. But Ken DeSermo, he
Can't discover.
from the time I see Ken DeSermo, Sean, I should jump out. That was his. When you say Ken DeSermo, is the first thing up to your mind. Always
Yes.
reaching. Until now, I see him right a few races. When I happen to see him right at a televised race,
Surfrod.
that
Yes.
was the stamp. By the time you see this person switching, it's like if you would watch a race and you would know when you see me just reaching, and I would know if I see that, oh, that has to be Kent. And like my idols was always Cadero, Angel Cadero, because he was a guy who would lay down and keep reaching a horse. I know he gets a horse and Lafitte Pinkai. When I went out there in Santa Anita in California, he was like my box mate, so to speak. So that was
Okay.
like something unique.
Yes, 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 yes. When you get to be with your idols and that kind of stuff, like how do you let them know that you're my idol, or you just play cool and like
No, I did just Sean, you know me, I'm very quiet, but I just scrutinizing and seeing and yeah, I'm just amazed and I'm kind of knocked out watching these like like
Mhm,
like Pink Eye himself, but he was just about I think 50 when I towards just after prior to me about ready
mhm,
to leave there. I think he was
mhm,
just top on 50, yeah. And it's funny how they're branding him a old man. And the guy,
mhm,
I mean, until now, I when somebody rides a race, I see he is a guy that will lay on the rail and just go through. It wouldn't even take a hole. Like I don't see a guy that I would just go, and when it's getting tight and bad, then he starts screaming and cussing in Spanish.
Cussing in Spanish sounds good. Oh man.
He's a big, strong rider, though.
So you won a lot of races
yes,
in the
yes.
Caribbean, and then you came to Canada, and then you had it. You was it a cakewalk, or you had it rough in the beginning, or what was it like after transitioning from the Caribbean to Canada?
Like Chris said, it was tough, but it was extremely tough. But I handled it well because, like you said, like Chris told the story. I came here as a champion,
Mhm,
and then they
Hmm.
were calling me almost every weekend. They were calling me from Trinidad to come back. Look, you've been gone a whole year. You haven't ridden a winner. Why don't you come back here? Da, da, da. But I was like the saying goes, I was looking for greener pastures. But
mhm.
the thing behind the story is Lisa, my now wife and present wife. Lisa came back to Canada. Lisa's Trinidad, and and then she left, came back to Canada. Lisa came back to Canada in 1990. So I packed my tag and come following the horses too.
Hey, might as well. So after that rough time in the beginning, I guess, Sean, go ahead. Sorry, before we get to this part.
No, because I looking at Echo Base, you were the first body from the islands in our generation, our era, to be in Canada from '84. What were you doing up there in '84?
Oh, I came on a visit. I came on a vacation trip to see Lisa,
Mhm. Okay.
and I went to Woodbine and just took my Trinidad license, and I got issued a Canadian license, and
Uh-huh.
I rode a horse for J.C. Myers,
Okay.
and just that's the one race. I was here
It's
for I
that
think
one race. Oh,
yeah,
okay. I
I
saw
was here
that
for
too.
2 weeks. Yeah,
During
yeah.
what-
I just noticed something though. I just I'm very sharp at these sort of things.
Yeah.
So you seem to be following your wife all around the place from '84 to 1990. Uh, I didn't know that. So is it safe to say? Is it
Wait,
safe to say
hang on.
then that
Before
that's
Sean,
the reason
before
why?
Emile answer this
Uh,
question, before Emile answer this, right? Now, did she know this that you were following her around?
You know, Sean, like we horse people say, when it's a good horse, when you see a good horse, you stick with it, Don't want to
Yes.
now, now this leads me to this because earlier I asked you about on the internet. I saw somewhere they said that you you only started writing when you went to Guyana. That was on the internet, and on the internet it also says that you 2019 or 2021 that you were a single man. So we can't believe anything that the internet tells us.
You got all right.
the only thing I ever rode a horse and only prior to getting into ride school in Trinidad, actually, I forget to mention, I only sat on a horse once. Where I lived in Guyana, my great grandfather had horses, so they were wild horses running out in the pasture. And I spent months trying to get a horse to get her. I see the guys used to put a rope in their mouth and then climb on their back. So I was trying to get, and this horse must have ate probably about maybe 15, 20 pounds of sugar and corn for me trying to get. So that's all I could get the horse to get close and see if I get a rope in her mouth, and I couldn't get a rope in her mouth. So one day I finally get in her back, no rope in her mouth. So she allowed me to get in her back. So I got in her back, no rain, no nothing, just me. I think I was 14. And I got in her back, and now the herd is away, and there's a stallion in the herd. So I'm there stunned. She broke into a jug, and I'm there hanging on to her mane. And as she got closer to the stallion, my body picked up. I just bailed off. That's my only right. And now, Sean, now knowing about horses, it was definitely a 2-year-old. Imagine a wild horse out in the wild, running wild, 2-year-old, and I rode for about, maybe about 100, 140 yards or so, with just jiggy jogging until you get to the herd and the stallion prick up his ears. I just boom and I bailed off. And that's my only riding experience, probably going to riding school.
Wow.
Yeah.
So after that rough start, and then I guess in 1996 when you won the Queen Split, I guess all the rough and all the hard work must have paid off.
They're at the post. They're off in the Queen's Plate Stakes. Firm Dancer broke well from the extreme outside, as did Stephanotis. Stephanotis quickly comes on to take the early lead. Damascus Dave, Victor Cooley is down on the rail. Christie crunches alongside as they move in front of us for the first time. And it's Stephanotis, the early leader for Mickey Walls. Christie crunches right there along with Damascus Dave. North Face out of trouble on the outside in fourth position. Drafting in behind horses, Victor Cooley. Then we have Spider Wire, who's in behind horses as well. Handsome Hansel just to the outside of Spider Wire. Then Northern Prospector. Firm Dancer has found the rail. Now back about 8 lengths off the lead. Then Laurie's main man, Crown Attorney, Intended Passage, and trailing is Chief Bearheart, 15 lengths off the lead of Stephanotis as they enter the backstretch. Christie Crunch is on the outside of Stephanotis, just a neck off the lead. North Face rating kindly in third, just a length and 3/4 off the leader. Victor Cooley, Ramsammy's got him to the outside now, just 3.5 lengths off the lead. Toward the rail, that's Northern Prospector, Spider Wire 6 off the leader. Handsome Hansel's on the outside. Firm Dancer has 8 lengths to make up. Then Intended Passage, Crown Attorney. Toward the rail, Damascus Davis backing away. Chief Bearheart still 12.5 lengths off the lead. Then Laurie's main man, 3 furlongs to run on the Queen's Plate. Stephanotis has led every step of the way. And there goes Victor Cooley. The issue heats up as Victor Cooley makes a 3-wide sweep toward the leaders. Christie Crunch's dead game between horses. Those three across the track as they come to the top of the stretch. On the inside, Stefan Otis. On the outside, Victor Cooley. Christie Crunches between them. Firm Dancers being worked on from well off the pace. They come to the final furlong, and Victor Cooley emerges with the lead. But again, Stefan Otis is battling back on the inside. Victor Cooley-neck. Stefan Otis's game, but Victor Cooley's got him at the 70-yard pole, and Victor Cooley and Emile Ramsammy, they win the Queen's Plate. Stefan Otis second, Christie Crunch third.
Wow.
So you only have to go a mile and a quarter one time.
What he wants, yeah.
Well, he said he wasn't a route horse, but he's more like an intermediate horse, 7
But
furlong, 6
I noticed you jump on them kind of early, and you still managed to battle them in the end. That was your plan?
Well, Sean, of all the races I've won, like my saying is the race start when the gates open.
Right.
So I thought he would have been a little more aggressive at the start earlier,
Yes.
but it worked out that he didn't. He settled in nice. So and those races going 10 furlong, I think if you have a decent horse, a horse that you think is fit and capable enough, you step them on 2.5 furlongs out, and you just go with it. The fitter, the horse with the bigger heart is gonna hang on.
Yeah, right. Okay. It looked to me that his heart really
Yeah, he
showed
just
in the end.
and like horse like that, over the years you had horses that, let's say, running the Gold Cup, or let's say the Kentucky Derby, or let's say the Queen's Plate, which is an extended long distance, 10 furlongs as the case may be. And the saying is you only have to do that one time.
Yes.
You only
Yes,
have to run
yes,
it one
it's
time. Right? So,
true.
And I think Sean today sent me a update on Victor Cooley, and he wanted you to see this horse.
that's Victor Cooley.
Yeah, he's an old boy now, but
The old
he's
boy
there.
knows. There's a recent picture of him.
Yeah,
And where is he?
Sent that picture.
he still have his look though.
Yeah, he's in Kentucky.
Oh, out in Kentucky.
Yeah, he's in Kentucky. I got that
Very
picture
good.
from Jennifer Morrison, man. She was great.
Okay.
To send me that picture. Thank you, Jen. It was good for her to send me that
You know,
picture.
Hi, Jennifer. You all good?
you know what I find amazing about you guys, man, is that like earlier you were talking about like specific races. You were talking about specific horses, and like, how do you guys got that memory? I mean, it is your thing. It is your
Yeah.
sport. It's your industry. But like, how do you remember so sharply about these animals? Like, what is it?
I don't know. I guess, like you said, is our thing, and that's what you know. That's all. That's is like our wives would say. That's all. That's all you do. Read, sleep, eat, and breed horses.
Well, that's true, and I guess it comes with the territory. If you're gonna be in the
Yeah.
industry, you're gonna be in the sport. You're gonna have to live it. You're gonna have to, breathe it, and that's all that matters. If you want to be a champion, right, you gotta think about it. Well, that's your thing, right?
Like people said, there's a term I think we talk about, Sean. People say you're lucky, Ramsammy, you're lucky, but there's only one thing about luck, hard work brings luck. So I remember back in Trinidad, how we stand by the paracol there, waiting for the horses to come out there
Yes.
and for the spin.
Yeah.
And the guys will say to me on a Sunday morning, "Oh, Ramsam, you don't have to be here. You'll be riding all next week." I say, "No, what? I want to be riding all every week, not only next week. I can be here the day tomorrow and the next day. You guys don't come and make it better for me." And then they want to know why I did so good. But the saying is, "Oh, you're lucky," but hard work brings luck.
Of
Interesting.
course, I'm a believer in that. You gotta work hard.
Now, speaking of that, Chris, when Chris came on the show, Chris said when things really start to change for him was when he stopped taking advice from trainers. What's your what's your relationship with trainers, and was that the same for you, or did you always go by what the trainers said?
No, you know what? That is a fact that Chris said. And my policy is you listen to the trainers in the parade ring, and when the gate open, that's when the race begins.
And is that a mutual respect with the trainers and the jockeys? Because the train in the back of the minds, the trainers probably like, I know he ain't gonna listen to me, but I'm just gonna tell him anyways. Now, as Sean being the trainer and you being the jockey, is that fair to say that you guys expect this to happen?
Well,
Um,
look, for
I don't
myself as
know.
a trainer,
The trainers give you. I don't know. I don't know what they expect, but I know what I expect when they get. Like I said, my policy, and even when I speak to young riders, on this present day, I tell them as much as whatever the trainer tell you, you listen. But when the gate opens, that's when the race begins.
because sometimes a trainer want you to go to the front, and the horse
Yep.
is
And the
not
horse don't
really,
leave the gate exactly, and it's not the
you know what I
same
mean?
horse you had
You
the day
know,
before. Yeah,
he's kind of scratchy, he's
it's
kind of
totally
tired out.
different. Yeah,
Yeah, and then as the race goes on, he warms up and
yeah,
gets
it's
loose.
different.
But
So, like I said, the race begins when the gates open. That's when the race begins.
Hmm.
mhm,
Now,
I
to
agree.
this day,
Yeah,
you being a successful jockey, and you've done it for such a long time. What's the horse you think that is one of your favorite rides that you've ever ridden? That one horse.
one of like I would say the best horse I've ever ridden, and it stands out. And I've only ridden this horse twice. Call to account.
Hmm.
Ooh,
And
call
it
it
was
out.
too, yeah, and he was like the writers would say, he was too stage up, but he was too stage up because I made it a stage up. I rode him twice. I rode him in the Cockspur Gold Cup the very first time I rode him, and I
Mhm.
won. I broke a track record with him. I never hit him. I just sat there. And then I rode him for the second time in Union Park with President's Trophy, and I broke a next track record with him, and he won impressive again. And he was such a nice ride, and especially for some because watching him run prior to me riding him, he looked like a horse you really had to get into him because the guys who rode him would really got into him and me, put a like you would say, would put a beating on him,
Mhm.
and the horse never needed that. The
Mm.
two times I rode him, all you gotta do is leave the gate with him and just let him run his race. Just
You
steer
know,
him around, like you say.
Hmm.
funny enough to hear you say that, because after all these years of riding in Canada, California, you
Yeah,
guys still go back home, man. You still go back
yeah.
home. Uh,
No, he is definitely
no,
without a doubt. That horse
Ricky,
was a superstar, man.
no,
If he goes
no, because
anywhere,
Ricky
yeah,
Griffith told me the same thing about that horse. He rode one time with one. I can't remember. Lord, now that I'm here, I can't remember his name, but this horse was so fast in Barbados, and he said that was the fastest horse he ever rode. Period. And I know Ricky rode a lot of fast horses in Canada, so
yeah,
you
it
know,
was nice ones.
yeah. So it's great to hear you guys still come home to say some
Sean,
horses that
in the 80s, when we brought horses between Trinidad and Barbados, those
mhm,
owners bought some quality horses,
it's true.
some
It's true.
exceptionally nice horses.
It
And
costs
those
a lot of
horses
money.
will compete. Yeah, they could compete anywhere in North
Yeah,
America.
yeah. You're right. You're right. Because he might have been $100,000 horse or
Yeah,
100,000 pounds or something like that. I mean,
fine, yeah.
I think yeah, he was 100. He was a lot of money, man.
No, Mr.
So
Khan bought some nice horse.
it's true though. It's true. Some horses
I,
that come to us are really expensive and they shouldn't be there, but
Yeah.
they're there.
I didn't even think that was the case, but I guess now that you say it, I guess there's some truth to it. But I mean, what? So if the horses are so good, then why are they competing Is it just a competition? Because I know it's the king of sports, so I know for a lot of these guys, the money is not even really a big deal. It's
Thank
just
you. You just said it.
you know,
That's it.
the accomplishments. That's all. You
You have
know,
the money, and
I mean,
I'm bringing the best back home to annihilate everything, and that's how those guys used to think back in those days.
Yeah,
I mean, I saw Ramsey sent his big horse to Barbados to run in the Gold Cup and won it, and he was. I mean, he doesn't. He got a lot of money. He doesn't even care about
Listen,
the
but
money. I think
see,
he just
the
cares about the
atmosphere,
accomplishments.
the whole atmosphere surrounding the Gold Cup for Ramsey there was the thing, just being there, and you know, the way everything went was that's what he enjoyed most about it compared
Hmm.
to North America. Yeah, Sean, when you win a race as a rider and a trainer, just go in the winner's circle and take a picture in here. No clap, no
that
trophy.
is that is it's
You don't
dead.
even feel appreciated. Yeah, you don't even know if you win a race.
Listen,
It
you're
take the
so
thrill, it take the happiness out of it, like we get, back in the Caribbean.
yes. My first deck win, I won, and I remember like everything happened, and I realized I'm back at the barn cleaning
Yeah,
horse shit out the stove. You know what I mean? In my
yeah,
in my suit, you know what I mean? Dressed to the nines. And I
yeah.
was like, what just happened here? You know what I mean? I remember I went back outside, I was sitting down like stunned, and an old guy came up to me and tell me, hey kid, you're the guy that just won that steak. I said, I said, yeah. He said, me cherish that moment, man. He said, I've been training for 50 years. I never walked across that green thing, But it was such it, I don't know. I thought I was dreaming or something. And then you just go home, you know what I mean? Like nothing
Yeah.
happened.
And then get ready for the next day.
Yeah. But in Barbados, now you gonna party for a week.
Yeah.
So hang on. Okay. Since you mentioned in Barbados and partying, so after winning a big race like that, Emile in Barbados, so for the rest of the months, is it you're done and party start after that? After winning like the Gold Cup or something, what really
No,
happens for you
no.
guys?
The funny thing about the Gold Cup is always that we only race on Saturday in the islands, right? So
Yeah,
Sunday is a big work day.
yeah,
Derek, Sunday is a big work day in the horse racing industry in the tropics, because
Hmm.
Sunday is the only day that all the owners can come out and see their horses, see their team, so to speak.
mhm,
So that's, yeah, even though you have a good day on the Gold Cup, you have to come out Sunday morning and work the other horses that didn't run in the Gold Cup.
mhm. But that mainly in Trinidad, Barbados don't really do that, but Trinidad for sure.
Yeah, Sunday is a
Trinidad
big
were
day.
yeah, yeah. Barbados is
Yeah,
very
like,
peaceful.
I remember one weekend I went to ride in Barbados, and then I wanted to stay this Sunday, and then I said to Joe Hadid, I said, Joe, could I stay Sunday? He said, no, we have a big day tomorrow. Anyhow, so I'm leaving to come back. My flight was 10 o'clock, and and Sean, let me had we at Panam at the time, right? Traveling, flying. Now Panam only used to hear one call for the passengers, and if you
Yeah.
miss the call, you miss the flight. Now I had my flight, and I look all of a sudden look my time, and I didn't hear it, and I said, "Damn, it's about time. You should have been on the plane already." So I went by and asked one of the attendants, and he said, "Oh, you missed the call, sir. That flight is probably about ready to land." No, Miss and Mr. Harin, you think I really didn't want to come. Anyhow, what was the funniest part about this joke? Well, not this joke, about this story. So now I went out to get a taxi to get back to the hotel I'm staying at. So when the cab was coming up to me, I noticed the wheel warping a little bit, and I said to the driver, "That wheel don't look too strong." So he went and he turned it with his finger, and he said, "Oh, it's okay." So now we leave in the airport, all right? I know, like in those cartoons, I see a prata and the car drop, and I see the wheel running past the car. You know, like you see in the cartoons, the wheel running past the car, the wheel drop off. Boom. No, that's so true. No, no, no. So now I get to the hotel at about after 10 o'clock. I go home inside and says, sorry, miss, I missed the flight. He wasn't happy, but then he was sure I didn't. Yeah, because I had asked him, I wanted to stay, right?
Hmm.
Well,
And
I
that's
guess these things do happen, you know. And I mean, and you, I mean, that was one of your moments. I'm pretty sure everything worked out.
You know, one of the better rides in my career too, was that Queen's Plate of Edenwall.
oh there. That was well.
Because when you consider he was also come out, so now we stuck with a position he didn't go in 13 or wider, because at that time they had it where you pick what number you're gonna draw. And then so he was a speed horse. I said to them, it make no sense going wide because we're gonna have to use more speed to get over. He's already got
Yeah.
speed. He's gonna break from the one hole. He's gonna get himself out of trouble.
Yes.
And he was a legit sprinter, right?
Yes.
And now here we have to go 10 for long. So you only have to go 10 for long one time.
Well, we got some video of that race, and I'm gonna hit play in a minute. But I wanted to say that I always remember that race because one of my good friends, and he was born here, but his parents were Guyanese, and he probably put some money on that race. But he would tell me he was working, and he said he's only gonna play Emile Ramsammy on that horse, and he always talked highly about you because his father made the silks for a lot of
Oh,
jockeys at Woodbine. He
yeah.
ended up passing away at an early age of 38 years old. But I mean, we were friends for a very long time from the time we were teenagers. And but he always would speak highly of you. And I just wanted to pass that on to you because I knew that if he was alive, that he would probably want you to hear those words. But
All right,
anyways,
thanks.
let's uh let's watch your Queen's Plate win.
See the sprinter go.
They're at the post. So they're off in the Queen's Plate Stakes. Piper's a Thunder from the outside. Pyramid Park is showing early speed, and the gray Sterwins is right there. Edenwald maintaining position down toward the rail as they move in front of us for the first time. And it's John Velasquez and Sterwins leading onto the wire for the first time. Malakoff to attend the pace in second. Wanna runners to the outside of Malakoff. Then we have Edenwald, who will save ground into the first turn, as will Shillelagh Slew, who has Atlas Shrugs alongside. Then Thinking Out Loud and a Pyramid Park. Piper's Thunder Bridge Cut is out wide. A Seafer Cat has two beaten, Hot Deputy and the late running Ascot Bill. And they head into the backstretch off a half and 45 and 4. This is a hot pace being set out here by Sterwins. Sterwins targeted by Malakoff and Wanna Runner. Edenwald gets a little nudge toward the inside. Then we have Shillelagh Slew, who's backed 5 lengths off the lead. Atlas Shrugs runs with Shillelagh Slew. Piper's a Thunder 7 lengths from the front. Seafer Cat's made up some ground. Pyramid Park, Thinking Out Loud, Ascot Bill, Bridge Cut, and Hot Deputy. 3 furlongs to come, and Edenwald comes on the inside of Sterwins. And it's Edenwald and Sterwins, those two in a heated duel. Malakoff has asked for run. Wanna Runner, not this afternoon, has backed out of it. And they're inside the quarter pole. Edenwald and Sterwins. Who will blink first? Sterwins on the outside. To the inside, Edenwald. Malakoff has flattened out a bit, then Shillelagh Slew. Edenwald on the inside is running the race of his life. They're in the final 16th of a mile. Edenwald and Emile Ramsammy to win the 147th running of the Queen's Plate. Sterwins was second, a show photo between Malakoff and Ascot Bill.
Wow, that's
Mm.
awesome, man.
Yeah, and this is another trivia, Sean and Derek. This is the first champion 2-year-old to win the plate. Usually they started champion 2 year and never
Mhm.
materialized.
Yes, correct.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's right.
and even more so, he was a legit sprinter too.
Mm-hmm.
So he just
I
and
saw in the chat here somebody asking about Highland Legacy. I mean, that's a horse that both of us know pretty well. What are your
yeah,
thoughts on him?
Leroy, Leroy he grew my life.
Yeah, Leroy. Yes. That's a horse that I
Yeah,
took to Ocala as a 2-year-old, and he
yeah,
became
he worked with him. Yeah,
a champion. With my well, he won the Southern Awards for champion 2-year-old.
And there seems to be a connection with these Barbados, these Gold Cups, and these horses because here Sterling's ran second. They came back
Yes,
later on and
yes,
won the Gold Cup in Barbados
Barbados.
yeah,
That's right. That's right.
with
yeah,
another Patrick, and you are Patrick yourself too. So,
yeah, yeah. And
And and,
but
and he came from off the pace that in Barbados. It was amazing.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, came from
That
off the
was a
pace.
nice, that was a nice run that day. Yeah, the Highland Legacy horse. That was I think the best race I enjoyed with him was he was a sprinter, and then we get him to go a mile and an eighth.
Hmm.
Steve,
Okay. What was your secret to do that? Because you seem to be, because a lot of these horses were like sprinted type of horses, man. What's the secret?
you know the whole, like when you if you go to university and you want to be a professional, any professional you want to be, whether it's a lawyer, a doctor, or anything, is one thing you also have to study. One subject you have to do is psychology.
Uh, uh-huh.
So it's some bit of psychology. And you're riding a sprinter and you throw him on the lead and let him relax. The way, Sean, you would have an idea what I'm saying about because of the way we ride. And Chris Griffith, who's looking at the show, would on someone, when they see like myself and you or Chris sitting on a horse on the lead and the term we use in North America, that we throw their head away.
Yeah.
But because of our English brought up, see, and the way we have a lot of horse, we do not throw their head away like they think we do.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think
Yes.
that's the secret. That is the success of me being on the lead. Because let's see myself on the lead, or you on the lead, or even Chris Griffith on the lead, and they think we throw their head away, but we go into 48 and 49,
Hmm.
and they put a North American guy and they go and throw their head away. They go 46 and 47
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
because we do not because the way we ride with that long rein, we
Mhm.
do not throw. We have horses on our hand because we
Yes.
like the term we use, the English term, you drop our hands. And
I guess.
it's like when we learn to get up, you have to keep your hands down. So we keep our hands down, but we have so much a horse on us.
Yes.
So when, like, let's see, when I'm on the lead and they come with me, boom, I gone again because I don't have a loose line. I have
Mm-hmm.
horse. I
Underneath
I
you.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
so
And
that's
that's
a bit of trickery then. That's not like you just kind
no,
of
that's
like
the whole. Yeah, as a whole,
yeah.
which in North American people don't seem to understand. I think you go the way we ride. We from the Caribbean ride. We go on the lead, and they think we, like they say, we loose line. We do not do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would loose line a horse only if it's logging in or logging out, because you
Hmm.
don't. The whole idea you don't is like fish on line when a horse is
Hmm.
logging in or logging out. You don't
Hmm.
want to grab because
The
then they
head.
bite whatever side you. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. In other words, when you do that, you want
Yeah.
to try to even out the bit, make them comfortable.
Yeah.
Let them don't feel the bit in the mouth. In other
Yeah.
words.
Because unlike when we put a horse on the lead and they see just galloping, they think we just throwing the head away and loose
Yes.
lining them.
Yes.
That's totally wrong. We
Yes.
have so much a horse on us. That's
So
why we'll never. That's why I think that's why I'm so good when I'm on the front with a
Yes.
horse.
So you always have something
Yeah,
in
much
here.
more. That's much
so
more than.
I mean that Chris was saying earlier that you helped so many of many of the jockeys and so many of the guys around the track and stuff. Jockeys, and
Right. People, horse people in general.
yeah, exactly. And for skills like that, do you think that the guys tend to not you know, like to draw towards you when it comes to that style of writing, or to take some advice or information from you, or they just kind of go a different way?
You know, like Sean would notice, like when in the Caribbean, we would be able to talk to each other and ask, and ask different writers about different things. But when you came to North America here, they're not like that at all. Everybody's like when I first came here, I couldn't leave the gate.
Mhm.
Every horse I left the gate, I was down in the back, and I couldn't understand why I couldn't leave the gate. But Sean, in the Caribbean, we ride a little bit European, where we don't leave running
Yes.
because we kind of want to
Yes.
run home. I couldn't leave the gate, and I couldn't leave the gate from every horse I'm falling back on them out. And I finally figured out I gotta leave running all the way until they get into gear
Mhm. Mhm.
before I get up and take a hole.
Mhm. Mhm.
And now, Sean, you would know, Derek, you probably might have figured out. I'm the best thing leaving the gate.
Mhm.
If they want a horse to leave the gate fast, they come to me.
But I was going to ask you a question on that, and it's funny that you
Oh.
brought it up, because I got a buddy, right, and he would say, Emile Ramsammy, you're the fastest man to get out the gate. There's no doubt about that. I don't know how you do it, but he would say, I would say, like, how does he do it? And he said, no, he's joking, but he said, Emile have a switch that he can open up his gate before the other riders. So how do you do that?
Derek, you're supposed to be saying something like this on this show. Now they're gonna be coming looking for the switch. Oh heck! Now you have me in trouble.
But
You
you're
know,
the
like
fastest man I see get
yeah.
out the gates. I don't know how you do it, man.
Like I was saying just now. What I couldn't leave the gate when I first came here, and then I finally figured out you just throw their head away and come out. Just let them come out running. And like when young, like in recent years, a few young guys started. Like even the top guys here, the two apprentices, two Japanese kids here. They come out and a few young guys started and said, "Look, come back in." I said, one time I'll tell you. Whatever the trainer tell you. I say, right now you don't have a clue about pace.
Mhm.
You don't know, starting. I said, when you leave the gate, just throw their head away and you just let them run for a good half of a long or more before you even try to take a hole.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then you understand. And now you see all those kids leaving. I don't know if you guys paying attention to the
Yeah. Yeah.
young
Yeah.
boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every young rider come, even if a guy come from the islands, I go by and they ride and happen to see riding a race and I'm nearby in the room and I would tell them, so if it's, I know they're out there for the first time in North America, I would tell them, the racing here is different. Leave the gate, leave them running, let them go. And like my first thing come now the gate. Now when I leave the gate, my first is always a chirp,
Mhm.
and let them go.
But is it safe to say this generation? Cause I speak to a lot of friends still up in Canada. These, is a more speed oriented racing going on now at Woodbine? Like
I
they go,
no,
guys kind of go and make races. You got to be up there to win the dash.
I I don't agree with no. I think because I've been watching the races. I think everybody break back and now getting back on skiing now instead of
Okay, okay.
letting them run.
Uh-huh,
I
uh-huh.
think they're more into back in our time, Sean. Everybody wants to look nice. We always commenting or always like heckling each other about how horrible you look. Now looking horrible is the way to go. Looking good is not the way to go at all. Now looking ugly and clumsy in the saddle is the way to go. So I think that's the reason why I might be staying on even longer. So that I might have to start looking ugly in the saddle.
Oh God.
Now I want to
That's
ask you, speaking of looking ugly and and all these kind of stuff. Now, as a award winner, sovereign award winner, all these accomplishments and so forth, right? Um, how does that add up? Like, how does that, as a jockey, we spoke with Patrick Husband last week. Like, does that force you to do anything differently, or does that you just be yourself and give you more confidence to even be yourself even more? How does that feel? All those accomplishments underneath your belt.
It, I just continue to be myself. I don't for me it doesn't make me feel no to do anything different. I just continue to be myself, and be myself is pretty strict and steady, you know.
Mm.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
my my whole life about me, everything I do, you know, I just want to do it proper.
Mhm.
And even since I was growing up as a kid, you know, whether it was fetching water, if we have to fetch 5 buckets of water, I want to fetch six. I want to bring six. I could be the winner. I don't mind if it take me extra 20 minutes and so on. And whether it was cleaning the yard, I want to have my spot featherless, you know, the cleanest spot.
Mm.
That says a lot.
Yeah,
That says a lot.
it was always competitive. You know, like
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to say. You know, I grew up in Guyana with absolutely nothing. We had at 6 o'clock. We had no running water, no electricity, nothing in the sort. So at at 6 o'clock when the place 7 o'clock when it's dark, there's nothing to do. We either go out fishing or go out running because there were four boys. We go out exercising or catching fish or counting the stars. We had no radio, no TV, no nothing to listen. You know, and it was something to do or something. And then when we get in bed, we hear the mosquitoes singing over us. We try to figure out if that one just is full of blood or no, or that if that one that just bit me and it's full of blood.
How can you tell if it's full of blood?
Yeah, well, we just see all the different songs, you know, because we trying to make we try to be competitive. We try to say, we have
Yeah.
nothing, you know. So and like even going to school, like see that's why I guess at going to school because we had like I said we had nothing to spoil us. So we went to school. It's, for me, it was competitive because I had no TV to watch or whatever, no no radio to listen to. So at school, I enjoyed going to school because here we have subjects and lessons. That, I can be competitive there and be the best at it.
That's really interesting because there's some guys here in Toronto too that they come from way out east, Newfoundland, and they tell stories of just just not watching a lot of TV growing up and just kind of out in the outback just doing their thing, and now that they're older they excel at what they do. So maybe perhaps not having TV around helps, right?
You know, as well as one one thing that happened TV. I remember I think it was 14. It was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This is out in Guyana on the other side of the Demerara River. And my uncle had bought a piece of property and he's cleaning it out for farm. He's cleaning the land for farm. He sat down under the trees having a snack. I'm looking through between the patches and I saw the North Star, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm.
That's how
Wow.
good my eyes were. At 2 o'clock
Wow.
in bright sun, right? And then even when I moved to Trinidad, I could see it. I find a location. I know they said the North Star is the brightest star on the planet. It
Mhm.
really is.
Mhm.
I could have seen it at any time of the day.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
now I struggle to see far. Now my problem is not see I can see near good, but far I have trouble. And hence the reason I'm always on the lead because I get out in front.
But as we go along, something have to deteriorate at some point. For me, it was my hair, and I'm happy to grow the beard instead. So, so you adjust.
Yeah. No,
But
but that's one thing in my lifetime I could say I was amazed about. I can see the North Star any time of the day.
mhm.
I mean, and it stand out so bright.
Yes.
But when you look back at your life now, Emil, coming from poverty and to where you are
Yeah,
now, um, how do you handle that? How do how do you feel about the success,
yeah.
all the successes you
Y-
have had from
You know,
starting from there to
yeah,
where you are now?
like the saying goes, you hear that over the years, you hear people say, what they've done for what life have done for them. But I've come a long way. For me, just looking back, sometimes like it's more than a dream. It's just like it's really a fairy tale. Just like my career took off
Mhm,
and happened to be. I was never involved in the horses at all, and it just happened. It just turned out, and and to the extent it has gone
mhm,
and still going,
mhm,
and I still enjoy it. But
mhm.
it's words can't put it together for me.
But do you really still enjoy it? Like, I mean, because your success is not as
Yeah,
things are a little cool right now.
yeah, yeah,
You discussed this when we last talked. Obviously, I saw you winning some races last year at Fort Erie. But are you
yeah.
happy with that? Are you truly happy with what you're doing now compared to a few years ago when you were
You
killing
see, Sean.
Woodbine?
Yeah, you see the thing about it, Sean, right? Um, such is life, and as athlete, it doesn't matter whether you're a jockey, you're a soccer player, a football player, whatever. As an athlete, when you get old, the public is the one that put you down. They start
Mhm,
crying, "Oh, he's an old man, he's an old
mhm.
man," and now we get to this age, we can see, and then we could actually remember. Let's say like when Hall was playing, and let's say he was in his 30s, and then all of a sudden you hear people say, "Oh, he's an old man."
Yep.
And now we're at this age and say 30 is actually a young, and you're
Yeah. Yeah.
peaking at your 30s.
Yes.
We
Yes.
know for ourselves that at 30s and in the late 30s, early you're peaking,
Yes.
and the
Correct.
public is crying you, oh, you're an old, and hence the
Yeah.
reason athletes they don't get a chance. I mean, look at Tom Brady.
Yes. Yes.
People being crying and knocking him down, but the guy, I personally think he's peaking at this older age.
But
Not
what,
at this older age. He
what
just keep going, so to speak.
yeah. But what keeps you going? I mean, because especially mentally,
Yeah.
right?
No,
It got to be a mental thing now because
yeah.
it, up to 10, 15 years ago, you were the man. You're not
I guess
anymore.
what really keeps me going. I enjoy it. I'm obsessed with it. I
Hmm.
really enjoy riding a horse.
Hmm.
Like this morning, I was up and I got on three horses, three 2-year-olds, and I enjoy it. I think that's the main thing that keep me going. And
Hmm.
I go out in the morning, and it's not like work for me.
Hmm.
It's my
Love.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really really enjoy it. I'm obsessed with it. If I don't get out in the morning, get on a horse, I don't feel
Do
like
you
the day
do,
has started.
do you have a time limit to hang it up?
No, I don't think I put a time limit on it. I think when I can't do it anymore, that'll be my time out.
Okay, don't
Now,
forget Gilbert Searchwell. He was our man for longevity in at Fort Erie. I
Yeah,
don't see
but
him
you
anymore
can.
though. Searchwell
Yeah,
Gilbert.
yeah. No, I know you're speaking about. Yeah, haven't seen him.
Mm, I
He
ain't
was
seen him in
around.
a
I saw
while.
him last year a couple times. Yeah, but not riding.
Yes. Okay.
well, I mean, that's interesting, Emil, because if you were not writing, I mean, what what would you do? Like, is there something else that you got lined up for the future, or you know,
No,
or
actually,
we haven't thought that far yet?
no. I haven't had no nothing planned. If I wouldn't be riding, I'd probably be running.
Running.
If
Running.
if I'm not riding, I'd probably be running away.
I know something had me behind that.
Ah,
Oh man.
Like some of us, like Ricky and myself, and we got into the other side of the
Yeah.
business and that stuff. You have no interest in that at all?
I, you know, I probably hope to I would love to train, to get a couple the right owners.
Hmm.
But I definitely will. I kind of have that,
Hmm.
in thought and somewhere along the line because I really enjoy the horses. And like I said,
Yeah.
my everybody be glad to ride for me because my only instruction is I don't want to get in a fight with my horse.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Do not get in a fight. You only way you lose a ride from my barn is if you take too much of a hold on a horse that wants to run.
I will give you a little advice. I could give you a little advice. 'Cause I used to like riding bad to myself, but I love training more than riding now because you get more enjoyment. You see,
It's a whole
when
different
you
thing.
yeah, the different, but the same feeling though, because sometimes it takes so much to get a horse to win a race. You know what I mean? We as a jockey, we just sit on them. We don't really
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
the problems you have to deal with and that
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
But you get that kind of joy of I've overcome all of these things and I did things differently and got the job done. And it's
Yeah,
I'm just like
and
there's the good other feelings. There's still a lot of nice feelings other than riding.
yeah, you found the right switch.
Yeah, I think a lot of us. You know what? Too, I've noticed. I saw Ted had Jacinto is Vasquez. He's still getting on horses in Ocala.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's Jacinto, eh? Jacinto
yeah, yeah,
Vasquez.
yeah, 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 with the J, yeah,
Yeah, he's still. I saw him like 10, 15 years ago, and he was an older guy, and
yeah,
he got to be at least in his 70s, man.
yeah. Because he had, the different thing about you, Sean,
Uh-huh.
is that we don't look like our early 40s.
I, I wonder why. I wonder why.
Hey, you guys are amazing, man. I don't know. You guys are so strong. I mean, for you jockeys, and perhaps because of so many years of holding the reins and pulling back horses, it make you strong, and make you able
Derek,
to
Derek,
get
that's the
up.
wrong word. That's the wrong term you use in pulling back horses.
Oh, sorry,
You
sorry, sorry,
gotta
boss.
find the right
Sorry,
switch.
boss.
You gotta
I'm
find the right
sorry.
switch. Let's switch it on.
I forget there's no pulling back with you,
No,
Mr. Out Front.
I'm the guy with the switch.
But Emil, I mean, I remember, I remember you had a fall one time. It was a Laurie Severe's horse. I fell and I think the horse broke his shoulder. And I remember you were, you were,
Oh,
you shook a
uh,
bad man.
as a favorite in the race too.
Yeah, I
A
think his name is
2-year-old
Storm the Barrier or something like that.
stormed the barrier. Yeah.
That's his name.
Stormed the barrier.
Yes, I
Yeah.
remember Richard Edgel. I think Richard was out there, and I remember Richard saying, "Boy, it don't look good, man." Emil was in
You know,
trouble.
I had the worst, one of the most ugliest. Well, I can't remember it, so I think it has to be. Until now, the only thing I fell off of a horse for Mike Doyle, a filly, I think it was a 30,000 claim or something.
Mhm.
Anyhow, the only thing I remember, I go into the start and I passed Huzzy and I said, Huzzy, I was warm over myself. I said, Huzzy, this horse looks as bad as his field. And that's like about 10 minutes. That was we turn around about 10 minutes before post. That's the only thing I can remember until now.
Whoa.
Because I remember we went in the gate and I know what happened.
Uh-huh.
I guess I wake up in the hospital. I don't know what happened to the horse, but I think she snapped both her front ankles.
Whoa.
And I guess I had a concussion, I guess, until now, because until now, I still cannot remember. Only thing I can remember is passing Huzzy about 10 minutes before the race. I said, this horse looks as bad as it feels. And we went in the gate and boom, we left. And I think somewhere down the backstretch, he snapped his two front ankles, and I went
Wow.
catapulted. And then the worst, then in Barbados, I was in there in 2011, I think, and
Mhm.
I was gonna ride a horse in the Gold Cup. Um, I worked the horse for anyhow in company with, and the problem was a young apprentice working the other horse,
Mhm.
and we were going once around. And that morning, the night we went out to some function, me and Lisa. And Lisa said she's coming to the track in the morning. And then we get up in the morning,
Oh
said she's
dear.
not coming. So then I said, "Oh, come on, let's go." So anyhow, so Lisa came. Luckily, she came that day. Anyhow, so we're working these two horses. We're going once around, and I'm trying to tell the kid, which I mean, working a 5 furlongs,
Mhm.
to let the kid let the horse to let his horse gallop because I'm tugging my horse too much, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
To let his horse gallop along. But you know, in Barbados is a young boy, so he's just going
yeah,
slow when he
yes,
should be just galloping on a little bit.
yes.
Anyhow, by in the process of me fighting my horse so much for him to get, we left the pole and he's still going slow and I'm still tugging and then boom, the saddle slip away. I know if you were there, you should remember this. Anyhow,
I heard about it.
yeah,
Cause
I broke
I
my
was still in
shoulder.
Canada. Yeah, I heard about that.
I broke my shoulder so ugly, and since then I came back and that since then my business here got because I couldn't start the season.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't
Do,
start the
do you
start of the
ever
season.
remember who that apprentice was that was riding that horse?
No, that morning I couldn't know. It was a I'd be lying if I said cannot remember. But Sean, I think what caused most of the trouble that day.
Mhm.
Luckily, Lisa did come, so she ended up coming to the hospital with me.
Yes.
And I must say thanks to um no, the girl at the racing office, Pierce wife,
Oh, okay. Rosette Pierce.
Rosette. Yeah, thanks to
Yes.
Rosette, she did a great job on getting everything organized well because it was so bad, and
Yes.
I really thought my shoulder might have slipped out, so
Yes.
I was trying to tell them pull it back and see if they could pop it back in place. And Lisa said she was at the hospital and she never heard me scream so much. I can't remember nothing. They had two big strong guys trying to yank it back in place, but I guess they probably made it worse.
Yes. Yes. It was broken.
And yeah, and then you know what worked out best is that the guy, the surgeon,
Mhm.
Doctor Thorne, who was he was the head of orthopedics here in Etobicoke, and he just
Mhm.
retired and come back to Barbados. But he's always in Barbados. But you
Yes.
know, so he did the operation. And man, what a hell of a! So I have like 7 or 8 screws in there permanently stayed.
Wow.
And with the major operation he did, you wouldn't even see a scar or I don't know how he did it,
Mhm.
how he put it together without a scar. I guess he blew it, and only scar is it had one screw to take out when I came back,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and to take it out here, and that's the only scar, the ugly stitch he leave back when I put in. But what he did, cut around the whole shoulder, not
Wow.
a scar. You wouldn't believe.
Hmm.
Wow.
Oh,
Dr.
I'm gonna
Thorne.
ask you this, Emile, because you said you got on a couple, 2 or 3 2-year olds, I think this morning or something.
Yes, yes.
Um, now I know when we spoke with Chris, Chris said that once he got over the Woodbine thing, that was it. He didn't really care to be there too much. He loved where he was at. Um, what's that like for you now? Are you writing mostly at Fort Erie, or are you still try to do juggle in between the two tracks, or what's it like?
Um, like the saying goes for us, as a writer, wherever the business comes. So
Mhm.
I guess it's between the two tracks, but to be to be more realistic, I guess I'll have more business at the Fort Erie.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So so I mean, I'm right now I'm at Woodbine. I work in the morning at Woodbine,
Mm-hmm.
So I got on 3 horses this morning for Nathan. I get on a few, and he has some nice 2 year-olds.
Mm-hmm. Would
Nathan
you rate?
Squires.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Gwyneth,
I've known that.
Derek. Yeah, no, I know you. I talking
Yeah.
about Derek.
Mm-hmm.
Derek is Gwyneth Squires' son.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Oh. Good to know.
So,
Yeah.
would you be riding some of those horses?
I'm hoping to, but when they show up good in the mornings, all of a sudden I can't write them. I'd be hoping to. Me and Nathan's always been good.
Yeah, yeah.
We've been together since way back
Forever,
with,
forever.
with Joe Hadid. Yeah.
Of course, forever.
Now I
That's it.
see you smiling. I see you
That's it.
smiling and
No,
everything. Are you still having lots of fun? Like doing that?
Yeah. Oh yes, without doubt. I'm not good. Like I said, I always said I don't get up and go out in the morning to get in the horse because I have a job to do or I have to get in the horse. I go because I enjoy doing it.
mm-hmm.
I really enjoy doing it. And just like you said, Sean, you enjoy training. Like my whole career since I was a youth, way back starting with Adin, I enjoy getting on young horses and
Mm-hmm.
see them as they mature and progress.
Of course. Yes.
Like back home, how we would always
Yes.
they would start in the F in some maiden and then go up the road and you see them. That has always been my thing.
That's where you pick the good ones.
Yeah, yeah. You sort them out
Yes, yes, yes.
and you find the right switch, Derek.
Now, how competitive is the guys in the jockeys room at Fort Erie? Now that you've transitioned kind of mostly down to Fort Erie now, what's the atmosphere like?
But the guys, they're all pretty good. They're very competitive. I mean, the thing is, what's kind of not helping me in 40 is I'm not out there in the mornings.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I'm never out there in the morning. So like Sean, you would know, you have to be there.
You gotta be for every
You
like
don't matter who you are, you have to be.
yeah, yeah,
You have to be on the track and show your face and get on
yeah,
horses. So.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's interesting.
when I went to Fort Erie in '91, it was the first time I drove. Sean, remember you have a car in Barbados or Trinidad and you drive maybe 10,000 kilometers a year, and that was a lot of driving.
Yes, yes.
That first year I was going to Fort Erie, I drive 39,000 kilometers in the 1 year. That's 4 years of driving in Trinidad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 7 days a week because Christopher was just born, so I didn't want to. My first kid was born, so I didn't want to. I didn't want to miss a day with him, so I had to track and head back home.
Yes.
Now, since you brought it up, how's that balance? Like, how important is that for you to spend time with your kids and your family?
That's such a good question, because when you come to think about our life as a jockey, like even in the islands, because every Saturday, every weekends in North America, and every public holiday is racing.
Mm-hmm.
So you see how hard it is for family life.
Mm-hmm. Everything.
Every weekends and every family holiday, and then somebody like me who's dedicated like crazy. Eating is not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't eat, and I can't take the kids out to eat dinner and have fun. We go to dinner, and I would just have my salad, and they'll have their fun. And then when our last child was born, Emily, I mean, when we went out to dinner, all the waiters couldn't believe because they say, "Oh, this little kid, 3, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, what you want?" "Oh, I have a salad." "Oh, but you have chicken strip. You have this." "Oh, no, I have a salad." They were all so amazed, yeah, because that's all I ate, right? As a little child, all she wanted was salad. The waiters couldn't believe. "Oh, but you have all these nice kids strip, a chicken strip, and this and fries and that." "No, salad."
But,
Somebody
was,
You see how tough life it is, Derek. How tough a life, a family life it is. No weekends, no public holidays, all all out, you know. It's
Hmm.
tough. You really have to think Lisa did a hell of a job with kids.
That's good.
Yeah, I guess we always got to thank the ladies
Yeah,
for picking up our slack sometimes, you know. But as we
picking up
get
a
older,
lot
we
of
get wiser and we make better
yep.
decisions, you know. Sean, you
Somebody
were
just
going to say
mentioned
something?
there. Yeah, somebody mentioned there just know if you will come back to Barbados to ride.
On the turf.
That's all we have. Don't worry, we ain't changed that yet. That's all we got, boss.
Oh, okay.
Is
All
that a
right.
no?
Oh
And
no, that's not a no. That's a yes.
that's a yes. You will come back. All right.
Yeah.
And do your kids like horses? Jennifer's asking.
Um, of all, it's funny enough, of all the kids, I got three boys, and they don't mind the horses, but they don't like say love the horses. The only person as a
Mm.
child showed the most liking and most into the riding was Emily.
Mm.
Okay.
The boys were, they're
Mhm.
just they just like the horse as a horse.
From afar, from afar.
Yeah, yeah, but not into the riding. Didn't mind being around them and stuff,
Yes, yes.
but wasn't into the riding. So I would to the answer to that question, I would say no.
Mm.
Because when we say like, we mean like riding them and just
Of
want,
course.
have a
Yes.
horses. But no, only
Like
Emily was the only person that showed any kind of interest in that sort of way.
like for
I
myself,
guess
I loved horses from very small, and you know what I mean. I was always horse crazy, man. So once you know like that is a no.
Yeah.
well, I
Yeah,
was going to say I'm
no, I got involved at 16 and a half, and boom, until
But
I
you but you weren't. But another jockey who rode late too was Godfrey Griffith. I didn't think he was 18 when he started. You know what I mean? And look at him, Ricky, Chris,
yeah,
everybody
yeah,
is right, but he started late also.
I
So
was
you
going to
know,
ask if it's is rare or if it's normal for uh for the kids of jockeys to ride as well, or if it's not, if it doesn't happen too often. I mean, there's some guys who rode and their kids might have ridden also, but is that normal? Like, I mean, basketballers, the kids tend to play basketball because they're so tall. But for jockeys, with your height and your weight and stuff like that, is it the same thing for you guys?
you see the difference of the jockeys kids, because we starve ourselves so much that we let the kids eat. So they we feed the kids more, or we couldn't eat, so that they don't get to that stage where they want to ride.
yeah, my
No, but
son is like
for
six
your
foot.
question, Derek, there's a few riders with kids that
Mhm.
turn out to be riders too.
Yes,
Hmm.
Yeah,
Wow.
and good writers also. Good writers also.
definitely.
And then you have guys like my friend Tony Grant who's a Cyrus Sires. I call him a Cyrus Sires. You know what I mean? Because his his grandchildren are the real writers. You know,
Yeah,
Rashid Hughes and Chris Husbands and those type of guys. And he I don't think he ever put his leg over a horse yet. But he has two champions in the family. You know what I mean? So yeah, sometimes it happens. A few generations down, you see, you know, especially if you're small, you got to
yeah, yeah,
once you
yeah.
find people in the family who's small, and Barbados is a place where there's a lot of passion and love for horses. You find a lot of people
Now,
liking it, man.
now I know that Patrick husbands flirted with retiring a few times. Have you thought about that, or you just kind of push that aside and say when it happens, it happens? What's it like for you?
I never given a thought to retirement at all. I guess when it happens, it happens.
Hmm.
I've
But
honestly
have you been
never.
hurting? Have you been hurting that back? I know Sunday Patrick is hurt a lot. That the pain is get to him.
Yeah,
Has the pain ever got to you where you said I can't do this no more?
did it pain? No, I guess I manage my. You see, the problem is, Sean. I suffer from rheumatoid arthritis.
Right. Where's that in the
And
knees?
rheumatoid, no, and it's flare up in anywhere in your
Oh,
body,
oh,
including yeah.
okay, okay, okay,
and and
okay.
and that's been happening since 1985. Now this is
Wow.
just people heard of arthritis and they think arthritis because you're old, but rheumatoid is the one thing they spend the most money researching every
Mm-hmm.
year. They spend more money than cancer on on rheumatoid research
But
because
how do you manage it?
rheumatoid. I don't
How?
know.
Tell me.
I honestly think if you just when it flares up and if you sit on it, it's worse. You got
Uh
Oh,
oh. Uh oh. That sounds like a Patrick husband's.
um,
Sounds like a Patrick husband's battery, a battery
yeah, that
alert.
usually that's when somebody pull the plug on you. But
That, that's
I'm going to
that's a
give
battery.
I'm going to give the Ransammys the benefit of the doubt that nobody pulled the plug on him. Um,
Oh man, I think he's going 2.5 hours. I think his battery wasn't fully charged.
I hope that's not an inside joke.
Uh, well, Patrick husband's went four. His battery was well charged. He kept prepared. I
Well,
gotta get. I mean, we gotta forgive Emmy because he didn't plan to come on his phone. So that might be the problem. So I'm hoping that he's charging up a bit and ready to go.
well,
I was now
we'll give him
interested.
a few minutes and see if Lisa managed to get the charger back in the phone, or if he gets it back in, and then he might be able to get to come back on again, and if
Yeah,
not,
but
then
I
that's it.
I want to hear more about this arthritis thing, man. I didn't. I know we always saw Emile in pain. You know what I mean? But I didn't know what the pain was.
Have you ever had those kind of situations?
But that's why I'm back in Barbados. Yeah, I even had to get surgery for my spinal cord, C4 and C5. Ah, the barber's back.
sorry. I touched something accidentally with my other finger.
Continue, boss. Continue. I want to hear about this arthritis thing, man.
Oh yeah, what I'm saying, right? No, rheumatoid. When you hear arthritis, people think, oh, you're old and that's why you get arthritis. But
Mhm.
a rheumatoid can affect a 1-day-old baby,
Okay.
and they spend the most money annually researching rheumatoid than any other thing. Anyhow,
Okay.
when it flares up, Sean, it's the thing is it's brutal, and I said since 1985 I've been suffering with it, and you have to work through it. The only because if you sit and go, it's worse. So you have to work through it, and
Well,
the only really of all the medication and everything else, the only thing I find that works is ice.
okay.
Ice costs nothing and works the best.
Now,
Have you ever
do
tried?
you eat this ice, or do you put this ice on the areas that
You
is
you
hurting?
ice you ice it. You put it on.
Have you ever tried laser treatment?
I try everything you could
Mm,
think about. I mean,
mm,
even in California, I've been to some of the top guys, even all out in Beverly Hills, Malibu,
mm.
Pasadena. I've been to some specialists.
Ooh.
They couldn't put nothing together.
Well,
But
I've seen you. I've seen you in pain before. And I mean, like you used to walk backwards. I used to crawl off a horse and that kind of stuff. But I just figured, you know, what I mean,
no,
is
that situation was my sciatica.
so
You
okay, okay.
just like it never happened to you, right?
Oh
So it
yeah, yeah,
happened to
it
you.
did, it did, it
You did?
did. I had,
Okay. So
yeah, it worse.
Derek, you ever
Yeah,
have a sciatica
that's
problem?
terrible.
No, no.
Anyhow,
It's
just
not
like
good.
you heard the word sciatica, over the years being around the city racetrack, I see this guy good. And then the next day, I see him, he can't walk. And I said, what happened? He said, oh, my sciatica flared up. I said, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't have a clue what sciatica was until it happened to you. Man,
yeah, yeah. It's
no,
not nice.
the sciatica nerve, you have two, one in your left and one in your front, from the base of your skull to the bottom of your heel, a left and
Hmm.
a right. And when it get pinched, it's brutal. No matter
I,
what.
I used to get pains going right down from my like top of my back right down to my
Yeah,
leg,
right
like
down here.
electrical shock. Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
And don't matter what painkiller nothing can help this thing.
Yeah,
Don't
you're right.
And
You're right.
just
You're
like
right.
it happened, it popped back into place. So the only thing, if
Mhm,
it ever happened to anybody happen, just suggest any little stretches, any little stretch they can do.
mhm,
No matter what. I remember in line, I spent almost $30,000 seeing all the treatment. You know, hear
mhm.
people talk about the hyperbaric treatment.
Yes, 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 yes.
I said about 10 treatments at $500 treatment.
Yo.
Went in the hyperbaric chamber. You know, they said these hockey players go in hyperbaric chamber,
Yeah,
that. What a bunch of crap that is. All it is pure oxygen.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
but
Still, the best
you know,
treatment is ice.
yeah, and I wouldn't, if you ever have it, if it ever happened to you or anybody happen, don't spend a cent going see no doctors or anything.
Mhm,
All just let them stretch any little stupid stretch they can do,
mhm,
and
mhm,
just hope it pop back in.
mhm.
And ice, ice is the
I,
only other thing.
I found one of the things that really helped me with that was I got a deep massage one time. A real, I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
when when she put her two fingers into the where the
it's
sciatic nerves are, Jesus. I mean, the pain of getting her. I felt I was walking with her hands in my back for a week, but I'm telling you, like, it was the only time I got relief from it to a point where it was. So what happened with me? A horse fell on me, and when I was in India, flipped and fell on
no.
me, and my back went. I was only 17 at the time, so you can imagine I had back problems throughout my whole career. That's not
Uh,
good.
Emil, that's a long time to have those pains from 1985, man. I gotta
Yeah,
say, my hats off to you, man, to
no,
for so many years of
Yeah.
I
enduring
tell you,
that stuff.
it's horrible when those things when it's a flare up, and you never know when it'll flare up. The worst
Mhm,
place I don't ever like it flaring up is in my clavicle, in my
mhm.
collarbone.
Yeah.
It's make
Wow,
him so it's brutal though.
wow. Now at the track and amongst race fans and stuff, like, do you, what's your what's the perception? What, like, do you get a bad rap, or do you find that you're still like a glory kind of jockey? Like, first, just from a personal
Yeah.
opinion,
Um.
not doesn't matter what people think. From a personal
Yeah.
opinion, from you.
Personally, I think the fans out there, I get an okay rap, and whatever else goes, it doesn't bother me. So that's about the main thing. Whether guys go negative on the other side, I just go along with them and be happy with a smile
Mhm,
while they be, because I can handle it. And
mhm,
that's the one thing, I can really handle the ups and the downs, even more so the downs.
mhm,
Nice.
mhm,
The reason why I asked you that is because just going back a little bit to when Mr. Husbands was on last weekend, and he mentioned, you know what, and it's something that sets you guys apart, or the top guys, really, is that you can't really think about what other people are saying too much. You just try to do your job, try to win, and whatever else happens, right?
That's
People can say
uh,
whatever they want, but you do, you do what you got to do. Are we frozen?
It looks so.
Oh, okay.
oh, we had a power surge here
Oh, okay.
as as a Canada a Canada surge. It was too hot today.
Too hot is only about what, 15 or 16
Yeah,
degrees.
it got up to 16 today. And I remember the first
What?
time so I came here when in 1987,
Uh-huh.
and I rode a race and I went in the jocks room and I'm freezing. It was October, right? And it's 23 degrees. I know in Trinidad and Barbados we get a 23 is cold.
You
But we
done. You got all right.
25 and 26 and higher is
Yeah.
norm.
Yeah.
I'm in the jocks room, I got two turtlenecks and I went to thermal, I'm freezing. And this guy came and say, "Oh, what a lovely day." I come in and I remember Robbie King washing off with ice water. and I have on just a summer clothes. And he said, these people crazy. And I gone and I went out and I ride my race, right? And I come back, I frozen. I can't even speak. My lips numb, my fingers. And these guys say, what a beautiful day. But now I acclimatize and now I can understand what they mean, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's
You're
been a
very much
lot of years,
Canadian now.
man.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot of people, a lot of jockeys, a lot of people. Once they come to Canada, they're very not too rare, not too often they leave. They kind of fall in love. What's your feeling like with Canada and everything else? Living
No,
here in Canada,
I enjoyed, and funny enough, I was out today. Who was with some friend, and we was talking and said what I really enjoy the seasons, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy the four seasons, you know. So back in the tropics, it's just tropics. It's just
Mm-hmm.
hot and hotter, you
Okay.
know.
Yeah. Trinidad get real hot too.
But,
yeah.
but then that is get boiling, man.
Yeah.
And
What really surprised me about Trinidad though, when driving in the mountains though. Mountains is really nice.
Cool, yeah, up Santa Cruz area.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real nice, man.
is there
Yeah.
somewhere else that you call home besides, say, Canada? Is there another home now, or is it this is home?
Canada is home, yeah.
Definitely
Yeah,
home.
yeah, definitely.
Nice, nice.
Great.
Um,
This show
John.
is going for 2.5 hours, you know, guys.
Oh,
Yes. Yes.
you see, here's
Are
the
you
joke, Emile. Emile,
are you
here's the
shocked?
joke. I, I'm the clocker. So I usually check the time, but I am resisting talking about time because people always give me a bad rap for talking about time. So I'm resisting talking about time. So I'm
I
not even
just
going to remind you about time.
I just look on the thing there and I see this big red meter over Derek's head there.
But I mean, I'm sure a lot of people thought that we won't get an hour out of you because
You know, that's a lot of talking, yeah.
you're not known to be a talker, man. Huh?
But good, when you got me for 2 hours. Come on, Derek, get me for another 20 minutes. You know, every now
No,
and again, something I wanted to say keep flicking up, and then when I think of it, we go into a topic and it goes away, and I can't get to it again.
that's
Next
called
time it
old
comes,
age. That's called old age. Don't worry about it. It's happened to me all the time.
Well, I want to. Sean sent me an update on one of your horses that won the Queen's Plate, and I wanted to show it to you so that you can see what he's doing right now. This one is can you guess?
is it a chestnut?
Yeah.
Look very small. They have, on a, they have him on a diet.
he's in he, he's he's in Iraq.
Oh, no grass there. I
What
thought
is?
I thought he went to Australia. He never went to Australia.
I don't know how he get to Iraq. I was shocked.
How does a
Then
horse like Eden Wool get to Iraq? Like what is going on over there? I guess you probably wouldn't know, but I'm just I'm just posing a question. Maybe one of the people who's watching could answer that. You know.
I
I
don't
didn't
have a
even
clue.
I didn't even know they have races out there.
Well, I don't think he's racing right now. How old is
No,
is that horse?
I'm talking for breeding, yeah, because most people
Oh,
usually
okay.
go on
Right, right,
that
right.
you've gone there for breeding. You know what I
I've
mean?
never heard about racing in Iraq, but
I
I know I got a friend from Iraq who's told me a lot of stories about going over the mountains on horseback. Uh,
mm,
but that's another show altogether. So,
mm,
Yeah, but
so
horses are going over mountains like that would be Arabians. They can handle
yeah,
that. You know,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
mm,
they can go the mileage and the roughness. In all, he can be a riding horse because he would have had thoroughbred problems.
Mhm, true.
it's quite
But I mean,
interesting.
but other than those two Queen Fit winners, which other races would have
But
tickled your fancy?
um,
Randy Thompson, man. Dubai, Dubai.
That's the Dubai guy.
Hey,
My
Randy
guy.
Thompson. Haley the
Yeah.
Barber.
You know, it had I think that's what he won, the sprint race.
Pardon me?
No, I had one year had a chance to go to Dubai, and the horse won. You know, our new recruit
Okay.
for John Sadler. Right, I
Uh-huh.
went to California. I think it was 2008 or something.
Uh-huh.
I went to California, and because I used to ride a fair bit of horses plus with John. We had some nice winners. When Delmar started in '99, I think we won the opening stakes on the day. And the same one, I had a horse, our new recruit, and I rode it at Santa Anita in a stake first time out on the turf down the hill.
Uh-huh.
And we finished third, get beaten like a short by a neck and a close finish. We finished third, and then they said it was going to Dubai, or they were hoping to go to Dubai.
Uh-huh.
So then I asked John, and John said, "Nah, you're gonna use Tyler Bays."
Okay.
And then I was out on the track working a horse. So then anyhow, we commit out to ride a horse for Bafford in the New Mexico Derby, the
Mm-hmm.
favorite. And if it wins the New Mexico Derby, we can ride it in Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
I was a 95 favorite.
Uh-huh.
And so I was on track working a horse, I think for Bob. When I come back, no, while I was on track, John shouted at me, "What about that Dubai race?" I said, "You said you're using Tyler." He said, "No." He said, "Are you open?" I said, "Let me get back."
Mhm.
So I shouted them when I get back. So in the meanwhile, he saw my agent, and she told him that we got Bob horse. But it was a tough decision for I can't really. I mean, if it was
You
me,
can't
the chance to go to Dubai, I
do the
wouldn't have
going.
think. But then going to the Kentucky Derby, the horse is 95 favorite
Yes.
in New Mexico, and he's going to the Kentucky Derby, and we ride him too. So it was a tough choice for her, and we committed to Bob. But I know Bob wouldn't mind me. I asked him, "You gonna have a problem to go to Dubai?" Anyhow, the horse won the race. Our new recruit won the Dubai, the $2 million sprint.
Whoa.
I can
And,
see now why you would
and
remember that story.
my horse ran fourth out in New Mexico. I never
Jesus.
made it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about horse racing. You gamble
Yeah,
sometimes and you gamble
yeah.
wrong and lose, man.
But I know if I was there, I would have to go to Dubai is once in a lifetime, Sean. You
Yes,
know that.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
I
yes.
wouldn't have missed. I would have.
Now, now do you
I know Bob wouldn't give me no trouble. Do you let me
Mhm.
out?
now, do you still have the same agent from all them years, or this you changed agents over the
Um,
years?
no, I stick with one guy, but now he's got. So I right now I don't have. I have a new agent.
Okay.
But my policy, Sean, is I started off first with Beverly
Yes.
Morris, and how I happened to see, I'm out there in the morning early, and I said, this girl she's as hungry as me because I'm going there early. I get to the track 5 o'clock in the morning. Is the only right there. I'm gapping horses for
Yeah.
free. I don't mind. I want to get in the horse, and she was out there in the mornings, and then I finally said, I'm gonna ask her, and she was new.
What
Said,
become of
okay,
her though? What become of her?
I don't know.
Whoa.
Everybody asks a question. I know she's out doing something else away from the horse race.
Uh-huh,
And then
uh-huh.
how I ended up with Neil. Neil was in the jocks room.
Yes,
He's
yes.
working
I
in the
remember
jocks
Neil.
room. Yeah, I asked him. I say, how about you wanna be my agent? He said, "Yeah." I said, no. I said, seriously. He said, and I took him out to the room and I bring him
Yeah,
out,
yeah. I
and
remember
that
that
was it. Yeah, and I stayed with him until
for a long time.
until just
But he got the perfect personality for agent though. You gotta admit that, man.
no. Well, Sean, I told one thing I told Beverly when I started and with Neil. I said, Neil, only one thing I want you to do. I said, you dress properly. I said, because if you're working in an office or whatever, you have to dress properly. I want you to dress properly, come to work, and I want you to say good morning and hello to everybody. I don't want you going to bar and like ages of coming to the bar and say, hey, where's John? Where's John the
Yeah.
trainer? And wouldn't say hello or good morning to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
hence the reason he got so well. Every groom in the barn, I said, because I said those grooms in the barn will tell you there's something good in the barn or whatever. It's da da da.
Right.
I said I don't care what it look like or it smell like. I said I don't want you to go to the barn and say I want is Glenn the trainer here. I said no, say good morning to him first and then go on from there.
Man, listen.
And that's how we gain all the respect too because
No,
he did it the right way.
but he was a nice guy though. Even
Yeah,
when he
yeah,
spin you, and you you cursing him though, you can cuss him, and he's all right, stallion, all right, stallion, stallion. Now don't worry about it. Yeah. And you just all he could do is just laugh, and you know what I mean.
yeah,
He was
yeah.
such a good him and Tom Patton, man. They're my two favorite guys, man. Tom Patton. You can't get angry with those guys. Those guys, man, got such good personalities that nothing don't bother them. You know what I mean? Nothing.
Now,
It's amazing.
have you ridden? I mean, have you ridden in? Well, this is a rhetorical question, I guess, but have you ridden in the Kentucky Derby?
No,
Because the
never.
reason why I asked that is because I've seen somewhere that they said I think Patrick Husband was the only Caribbean jockey to ever ridden in the
I would
Derby.
think, yeah, I would think so. Yeah, as far as I know, the only career person in our era that our generation would know of.
Is is,
But
is that is that something that you would have really loved to do?
you know, I think every writer, even more so in North America,
Mhm.
and like like even like that grew up in Barbados and Trinidad and came out to North America, that was that was always on the top of our list anyway.
Mhm.
To
Mhm.
be able to ride a Kentucky Derby, and when you think of it, there are thousands of horses being run through the sale every year, and only 16 or 17 can make it to the Kentucky Derby. So that is one hell of an achievement to
Mhm.
be as an owner to get a horse to make it to the Derby, as a trainer to have a horse, and as an owner to have a horse to make it to the Derby.
Mhm.
Because I mean, the guy spent tens of millions of dollars on trying to get a horse to make it to the Derby, and a guy would probably get a horse free that nobody wanted to make it to the Derby.
Mhm.
So to be able to get a ride in the Derby is just like the Queen's Plate. Same thing. We have thousand horses bred here every year,
Mhm.
and everybody wants to make it to the Queen's Plate. From the time you go to stud you're as a breeder and as an owner, you hope you have up a horse to be a superstar, even more so a plate horse to make it to the plate.
Mhm.
And it's only 16 or 17 and them is going to make it to the plate. So
It's amazing.
yeah,
Amazing.
Question, because I mean, like you guys, like most race fans in Barbados, the ones who connected to the Caribbean, they know you and they speak highly of you. Is it the same way like that in Trinidad and Guyana when they speak of Emile Ramsammy? And do you find that, or do you think that we put our top athletes like yourself and all the other top ones from the Caribbean in a good league of I don't know accomplished jockeys and
yeah,
people?
without a doubt, Derek, I think very much so. The Trinidad, and I mean, I don't know, I don't, you know, of Guyana, I don't know how many of them know they consider me as a Guyanese.
Mhm.
I think there's a big debate among some of the racing people whether I'm Trini or Guyanese. But the true fact, even my cousin, who is my cousin, my first cousin, he had an argument with a friend, with another one of his friends that he knows, and yet still when he spoke to me, I'm Trinidadian born. I'm not Guyanese born, and he
Mhm.
said that I was Guyanese because we are first cousins.
Mhm.
And I grew up in Guyana, but So I don't think Guyanese know me so much as a as a jockey. It's more the Trinidadian and
Yeah,
Barbadian.
especially with the racing down there too. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
the racing
It's a
down there not
whole
really. It's pretty
yeah.
small.
It's a whole different. Like you say,
Yeah,
it's not what's the right word? Centralized, not centralized.
yeah.
It's not proper. It's more yeah.
Countryish.
It's not on the books.
No, 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 no.
Okay.
Books.
It's not. That's not
But
the right word I'm looking for. Though.
one thing I wanted to ask you because I mean, we're talking things and think writing. I'd like to ask jockeys this question: What writing and Mirage? What has writing at the Garrison done to your career, helping you to be a better jockey?
You know, the thing about the Garrison is like every track is different, and the thing about what I enjoy riding about the Garrison is either you in front if you have the horse to take you in the front,
Mhm,
whatever caliber races is,
mhm,
or you're in the back and wait for the stretch. And
mhm,
that was my pattern riding in Barbados. If I couldn't be on the lead or close in the first three,
mhm,
I hope I was in the back of the pack, especially in the longer races,
mhm.
because you know how sharp the track is.
Cause you beat me in a race one time. I'm still haunted by it. You laughing?
I did the barber ride, the you.
You shaved me. I got shaved. I got shaved, man. I got shaved. I shaved you back a few times afterwards, but that particular one,
I lost
man,
you, Sean.
I said I managed to shave you back a couple of times, but
I
that
know this
particular
thing
one,
is false.
he
He
beat
just
me. Weapon, he's off.
his
I'm not
his
gonna do
um
it.
his phone just kind of
You open it
Oh,
on your
fell a
thing.
little bit. I think his phone just twisted, so it's just a matter of
he's still there.
retwisting it. Still
Yeah.
there. I hope
How you open it?
he understands that.
It's not WhatsApp.
Anything crazy,
Email.
because I can
Mhm.
hear him. It'll be a nice sound bite, but might
No
not be too
document.
pleasant.
I'm coming back.
All right, brother.
I'm coming back. Hola, Thomas.
Yes, yes.
Here we go.
No, I remember because the same thing you said just no. You used to either go to close or come from behind. You rode a horse called Nightlife,
Yeah, yeah,
man.
yeah. David C.
And the thing about it was I didn't mind getting the beat because I thought it was beaten for a long time, a long way out of the race. But when I saw the race and saw that you stayed on the rail and everybody went on Bush Hill and you came right up the gut.
Yeah,
If you had to go around one horse, you could have win that race.
yeah, yeah.
So you're right. You used to do things like that. Used to one thing at Garcia, you always
You know,
stay close to the
even
rail.
though from riding in Trinidad and Barbados and the turf, especially because the turf, you know, stayed on the rail
Yes,
is the way to go. But you know, we
yes,
came to North America, we came to Canada, and the people they would get off the rail, and you know,
yes.
and we still in the habit. I think myself and Patrick Osborne's, we still in the habit. We just can't go wide around the turn for some strange reason. I just can't go 7, 8 wide around the turn. I had to tap out and wait, and there's a few races I know, quite a few races. I probably if I went flipping around the turn 5, 6 wide,
Yeah.
he might have won, you know.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
I've seen him done the same thing many times. I
Yeah.
think we get into talking a few times too about the same thing, and we
Mhm,
both said the same thing.
mhm,
We just can't go wide, you know.
mhm. Because going
Interesting.
wide at the Garrison was a death sentence. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I mean, you could lose like 10 lengths when you go out there.
yeah.
So it's
You
like
lose the
I,
race, not 10 lengths, you lose the race.
yeah, yeah,
well,
yeah.
I don't imagine that you guys tell all your secrets. So, but do you guys share any tips amongst each other as jockeys about how you can win? I'm pretty sure you don't, but I'm just throwing it out there. Do you?
You know, Derek, when you see this, one of my things, guys watching replays in the room, right? You hear them yelling, "Oh, I could have done this. Look at this horse. He's lugging in. He's lugging out." Like, damn, if the I'd be watching replays and you wouldn't hear a moot out of me. But I'm listening to everybody to hear. And since the situation comes up, if I'm going to ride that or get a chance to ride that horse, or I'm in a race against that horse,
Hmm.
I could know, well, maybe I remember this horse he lugs in, so I can get out of his way or keep him
Mhm.
on, keep him in that position where he can't get now. If I happen to get a ride, then I know. Maybe I go and say to the trainer, maybe you should try this, what to help
Mhm.
him.
Yes, yes.
And you don't hear nothing out of me, so you can't go if you get my right to go and
Uh-huh.
say, well,
Something.
this is something that you heard this horse or do or
So
whatever.
Right,
is
right,
that
That's
a
right, right,
is
that's
that a
one
right.
of my secret watching my when I watch replays against a whole bunch of guys watching
mhm,
watching the
mhm,
replays
mhm.
and hear them carrying on.
Is that then experience talking? Experience you've learned that from experience to just because I
No,
hear no.
Sean, that's always been my way. I don't you don't ever hear me say anything.
Yeah, it's true.
I remember riding through Trinidad and over the years, and guys would say, come back in after race or sometime we out, whatever, Sunday playing cricket or whatever. Then we get into talk, and I said, I never hear you screaming a race yet. I never hear you shouting a race. Or you watching plays, I never hear you say anything. What happened? I said, just looking and observing the race. Let it be.
I think we asked this question to a few people before, but I'm gonna ask you. What are your thoughts about the young jockeys in in uh, in your what's it called, Sean Colony?
Yeah, colony, right in
I'm trying to
colony.
get used to all the terms, but what are your thoughts on those guys, and how do you see them progressing and so forth?
Like I think I overheard Chris saying because he's not riding as much and not being he doesn't feel the competition and just doesn't get involved.
Mhm,
So I mean, I'm not riding as much, so I'm not really focused on the races like I used to.
mhm,
But from what I see, the other times I watch the race, I think the young guys are very competitive.
mhm,
I can't. I think they ride. I would ride them on a horse if that I own,
mhm,
and they do a good job here.
mhm, mhm.
And my thing in being coming from the islands, British colony, so to speak, and brought up the British way in racing. I believe in weight.
Yes.
So of the top riders we have riding at Woodbine now, um, the two Japanese kids, they're
Mhm,
they're very light. So
mhm,
if I should have a horse, I recommend somebody to use a rider. I would use
mhm.
those guys because I know they will they can do the weight
Mhm.
So in that case,
and
how
they
are they
ride.
beaten?
Sorry, and they also I know I'll get a good ride because I like the way they ride. Very they ride very competitive and very aggressive.
Mhm.
Interesting, interesting.
What's going on in Canada right now? Where I don't see a lot of Canadian writers. Where are they?
I don't know, Sean, in our time, how tough it was to be able to get through into Canada.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
Rough.
now it's
You go beg. They're begging people to come because there's no writers.
yeah. Now you just come from America and so long as you're Canadian, they don't want you anymore. It's fine.
But what do you think is the reason why a lot of young Canadian men or women are not coming through the system?
Uh, I don't, in North America and the whole, if you look back at the riders that you can recall,
Hmm.
there's really never generally much Canadians or Americans. There's always, whether it be Puerto Ricans or South Americans
Hmm. Hmm.
or so Spanish guys, so to speak. So in coming out of South America and Puerto Rico,
Mm-hmm.
and and Canada had mostly Canadians, and then I guess in the 90s, the 2000s, from guys from the islands and Caribbeans, and and now in recent years, now total Americans, well, Americans, Spanish Americans, whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But one thing about Canada, we always had a lot of female writers,
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
I think Canadians female writers kind of stand out and help the whole world, so to speak,
I mean, you can't get
produce.
better than Emma Jane Wilson, man.
No,
I mean, she's better than most boys in Canada right now.
yeah.
I was going to ask you, Emile. So, what are your thoughts on the female writers since you brought it up, compared to the guys, and compared to
I
the.
I think the girls write very well. They're they're competitive and they can do the job good as anybody else. And I personally think some horses would would run better for the girls, and
Mm-hmm.
vice versa too.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Oh, why is that? I don't understand.
It's just
Touch,
nature.
the
They
touch,
just
man.
in the day they feel they have a whole. They can feel the vibes of feminine on their back, and a
Hmm.
whole different feel and a whole different hands. It's
Mm-hmm.
totally different. And I wouldn't
It's a
I wouldn't
softer touch. It's a
yeah,
softer touch.
I wouldn't hesitate to use a feminine rider on my horse at all if I should ever own a horse or train horses.
Mm-hmm.
Is a girl and feminine writer the same thing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just want to be clear, just in case you were, sometimes there's some underlying things there that I missed, so I just want to clear that up.
You better look for the switch.
Oh man.
No, but the
No, that's
what I really like about Canada, it stands out, and I think it helped throughout the world to bring so much more women
yeah.
involved in being competitive as jockeys, as
Mm-hmm.
riders.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I think just the other day I was watching some Australian racing, and I
Mm-hmm.
was surprised to see how many more girls competing in Australia.
Yes.
Yes,
Because
yes,
there
yes.
was not nobody could not match when coming to feminine riders. The girl, the lady jockeys, the jockettes
Mm-hmm.
on the planet than Canada. We
Mm-hmm.
had
Mm-hmm.
we had them outnumbered by many.
Yes. Yes.
And I think they should be proud of themselves, because it's good for the racing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you enjoy watching racing, or are you're more of an involved kind of guy?
Well, I'm more involved. I enjoy being competitive, but I really enjoy watching the racing too. So I still uh, have all the racing channels.
Mm-hmm.
As I go through, I watch them all. I even watch Australia racing all through the night. I get
Mm-hmm.
up in the night from 2 o'clock in the morning and right through.
Ozzy, man.
There's so many racing in Australia.
Yes. A lot.
Oh, there's
Big.
tracks all over and all kind of tracks. So Sean, you
Yeah.
talk about bush tracks. You want to see bush tracks? You go to Australia.
I rode at a bus track called Mount Barker in Perth. We had to fly by Cessna plane to get there. I never forget that. And then when I rode at the Gold Coast track in Brisbane, that was a B track when it was there. But now I hear $1 million races running there now.
Yeah, that's a
So
big track now. Yeah, yeah,
you know what I mean? But it had all the facilities of a big track. It was
yeah.
new. So I just think with time, it just needed
The
to
material there.
yeah, yeah. But Gold Coast was nice, man. It was really nice. Really nice. Yeah, Julia can't tell. My boys and tell us who some of the ladies are who really did well at Woodbine. Anymore.
So what's the? I know you say you don't have no plans of retiring. You're just gonna keep going at it. But I guess as April is around the corner, you must feel really excited then about this season coming. And what is
Yeah.
it like at Fort Erie? Because every year we hear all these stories about Fort Erie, and is what is Fort Erie racetrack like now?
Like I said, I don't spend no kind of time out there in the morning, so I know racing it's nice to track the surface. And I've always said, for 30 of all the dirt tracks I've ridden on, 430 surface is by far the best racetrack I've ever ridden on,
Hmm.
surface wise.
Hmm. It's kind to the horses.
Yeah, it's exceptionally nice. Our
Hmm.
dirt track at 430.
Hmm.
They really have a nice surface, and the paddock area and the barns in the morning, like I said, Derek, I really don't be out there in the mornings,
Hmm.
so I really can't answer your question there.
Okay.
Mm.
Oh, so I think we touch on family, we touch on on future, um, trying to see if there's something that one of my friends talked about early in the week and I forgot because people ask me these questions to ask the guys when they come on, and I tried my best to remember. So we get caught up in so many conversations that sometimes I just forget. Um,
Emile's answered everything tonight, though. He hasn't he hasn't backed us up
I,
on
I
anything,
tried to
man.
switch. I even find the switch.
oh, so and there used to be like there was a time when Woodbine used to do these what they call it, not sprints, they call them squints or something, these very short races with 2 year olds.
Oh,
They're
uh-huh.
like two
Two furlong
furlong or
races.
something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Do you as a competitive jockey, do you like those kind of races? Or does it matter, or any kind of competition is good for you? Like,
It,
what's some
I,
of your?
I, I don't think it's a bad idea to start off the horses into the quarter mile races.
Hmm.
Over the years of because we do have them out in on the west coast in California.
Hmm.
This first 5 or 6 2-year races are quarter mile races.
Hmm.
Because I remember riding a few and winning a few for Wesley Ward out at Santa Anita.
Hmm. You rode for some of the biggest trainers out there, man.
No, I was like I said, I went to California and it was like a dream come true. I was riding for forever, like when I that spring meet in Hollywood when I was doing great. I was riding first call for everybody out on the Santa Anita circuit,
Yeah,
including Bob Baffert, and then like I
but
said,
what I'm gonna ask you now, right, is that do you feel it's bad luck then when those sort of accidents happen where you got hurt and then everything gets go upside down? I mean, or just
who's the
fate?
best person? Who's be the best person to answer that question? My agent.
Mm.
When he heard I fell, man, the way he went ballistic. So, and
So
then, I had Brian Beach as my agent too.
right, good
Oh my God.
agent.
Wow, that's a really thin
Yeah.
line, man. To know that you that close to winning a
Oh
two
man,
million dollar
everything.
race and stuff
Yeah.
like that happen,
So,
finger broken, stuff like
yeah.
that.
How much injuries you had in that space of time? Of
It was funny, like Sean, I said, I rode for 19 years without broken a bone,
right,
without
right,
breaking a bone.
yes.
And all of a sudden, I make a collective.
No, because it felt like every time you go on a horse, something
Yeah.
happened.
All of a sudden, yeah, I took some ugly falls. I took some knockout falls. I mean, I was never knocked out in my life until that Storm the Barricade horse.
Yeah, I
And
remember
then
that.
that horse, I was telling you about that horse with Doyle.
Yes.
And then I rode a horse with Tino on the turf one day too. Just snap a leg and knock me out.
Now we always see like Caribbean guys do well on turf. Um, is it something that you get pumped up for, or is it just happens? Like to for rides on the turf versus sand or polytrack.
That's a question of quite a few people have asked the question is, what do you like, dirt? Do you like riding on dirt, turf, or poly? And my answer to that question is always is, whichever surface I have the best horse on, I will enjoy riding on that surface. The thing, but I look forward to turf racing because I think I have a little, because of my experience riding, starting up riding on the turf in Barbados and Trinidad.
But what's
I,
your thing? Do you think the difference right in there's no like three surfaces now. We got the poly, you got the
yeah,
dirt, you got the turf. I
yeah.
mean,
And then we
you're
also have the artificial turf, which is that inner turf of Woodbine.
that's artificial.
For
Well,
sure.
yes, because remember it used to be a harness track.
Yeah, yeah.
So the turf they put on it
Okay.
can be original turf.
But it's actually grass, isn't it?
It is grass, but it's not.
Oh, okay.
It's not like, let's say, like the Garrison grass, because
Oh, thank
it's
God.
not deep, right? Yeah,
Uh,
it's a whole different, right? It's a whole horse that Sean, you would know over the years, right? Like you,
mm,
no, no, I know. Yeah. Anyhow, you might have an idea because at the training track at Woodbine,
yeah,
when you train on that training track, the horses work extraordinary.
yeah.
And when you go out and run on the turf, out on the Marshall turf
Mm,
or our big turf course here, they don't run the same way because you know why? Because it's totally a different surface.
yes.
And I've over the years had horses where they work exceptionally good and then go out on their turf. And I always said to the trainer, don't give up. Take them across the border, run them on one of those surface out there across the border because that's the original turf where the grass are grown from the dirt and not
Mm.
like our turf where
It's
it's not
rolled out.
proper. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, I
exactly.
know what you
Yeah.
mean. Yes, that rolled out stuff. Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
I've always heard people saying that the Marshall, the big turf,
Yeah.
that surface out there is different to
The last, yeah, the
the
inside.
last part. Yes,
Yeah,
yes. I always hear those
it
guys
is.
say that.
When you ride, you can actually feel it too. And then, hence the reason horses see some horses put out on the turf in the train, on the train turf and work extraordinary, and then
Yeah,
they put them out in the afternoon and they don't run a jump,
yes, yes,
and that's the main reason.
yes,
And now it's even worse now with the inner turf we have now, Woodbine.
yes.
The same thing too. They put them on the turf in the train turf in the morning, and then they put them on that turf, which I call artificial turf,
Mm,
and they don't run, and they wonder why. And
mm.
that's the only reason why.
Yeah, I don't understand what you mean by that because that's like strips rolled out
Yeah, and you
and
don't get, it's a total different feel because the horses don't get to grab on the turf
uh,
like a proper turf, like the
mm,
training turf we have.
okay. It's amazing how these kind of
Little
stuff.
simple things, yeah.
Yes, yes,
You have
yes.
to look and as a trainer, you sit down and you wonder why your horse didn't perform.
Hmm.
All these things you had to click,
Yes,
look into
yes,
and see,
yes.
because it's a whole bunch of different things.
Hmm. Right, that's really interesting. It's good information that you shared
Oh,
there, I guess, because
so much
I guess,
different things, yeah.
Better on the EP Taylor than on the inner turf. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that explains a lot, I guess, to some people too, right?
But people, yeah, because you like our EP Taylor turf farm show, and you go down
Yeah,
the back stretch, you see some horses are not running, and
yeah.
then all of a sudden they straighten up where
And
they hit the
skipping.
original turf and
Yes,
see them gonna turn into a whole different horse.
yes, yes.
And that's the main reason, and vice versa. You see some horses going down that back stretch where they enjoy that artificial kind of turf, and then
Hmm.
when they hit the original turf where it is a different grip and a
Yeah,
different feel,
yeah,
they back
yes,
out.
yes. I mean, those are things that you really gotta look at when you playing the ponies. I guess. I mean, it's amazing.
What does Emile Ramsammy do when he's not involved in horse racing? I know last week Patrick said he loved animals and he's out there. He's not watching TV, stuff like that. Chris chills. People
No,
do different things. What are you doing?
my policy, right? I I'm a home person. I like being home.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike the guys, they get together and go out. Me, I wanna go home.
Mm-hmm.
I wanna get home. The kids were here. I enjoy the kids now. Just Lisa and I want to get home to Lisa. I don't want to leave Lisa home by herself.
Mm-hmm.
So I come home. I like being home, and I whatever. I just enjoy being home. I
You
have a
still,
parrot home. I have a African gray.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I enjoy him.
Uh-huh. He talks.
Yeah, they're really smart. Exceptionally smart. It's really the best talking parrot.
Uh-huh.
And they say they have a knowledge of a 5-year-old, and they really do because this bird is so smart. And if you guys should come in my house and hear him speak, you would know if it's me. But he speaks in my
Really act-
tone, my accent, and
Uh-huh.
all my little tricks. You wouldn't. It be
now,
it'd be almost impossible for you to distinguish. I had Nathan here a couple of weeks, and so when he come down in the morning, he say, "Good morning, how are you?" He couldn't understand. He jumped. So he speaks in my accent and my tone,
Uh-huh.
and he knows good morning. Like the part, them green part to say hi or whatever
Yeah.
morning any time of the day. He only say good morning in the morning.
Okay.
And like
Okay.
night, he knows good night, and he knows if I go to the fridge and at a certain time, and I
Uh-huh.
I take water, he knows it's time for bed. He can say good night, see ya. Smart. No, he's wicked smart.
You
So
still
when,
live in
when I
Bram?
come home, and open the door, I say, "Yo, Wam."
Mm.
So, so soon as he hear the door, I have a little chime. He say, "Yo, Wam." No, he's very smart.
You still live in
wow.
Brampton?
Yeah, Stellan. Yeah,
Same house.
yeah.
Wow, you
As of
there?
now,
Yeah, we there for years, man.
yeah, for since 2000.
Yeah.
Wow, man. So you just chill at home. That's
Yeah,
amazing. Well,
Well,
what's what else can Sean go ahead? What else you
no,
you
I
gotta
think
say?
I think we squeezed this.
no, I just want to thank the whole Barbados Turf Club situation with that incident I had with my
Mm-hmm.
broken shoulder
Mm-hmm.
for all I've done and all especially Miss Pierce,
Mm-hmm.
all the work she went out of her way to help.
Well, I mean, you're one of our legends, man. You don't like a legend
No,
get hurt on
it's-
our
yeah,
I'm
no,
happy to
Well,
hear they treat you
you
well.
really, you really
and
went
so
out of her way to.
So before you go, I just want to, I know I've mentioned this before, but I want to say it again. So on behalf of my buddy who passed away, I want to say, man, look, congratulations so far for all you've done, all your accomplishments. I mean, for him, for people around him, there's a lot of people you might not hear all the time, but there's a lot of people who still cheer for you and still hold you on a high respect when it comes to being a jockey and for all the wins and the accomplishments that you have done. You know what I mean? Because I've always said this, and I said this last week, and I'll say over and over that sometimes we don't always give our jockeys the credit that they deserve. Because these are ambassadors that go out. No matter how you guys do it, you still do it, and we still remember you. You guys are good at what you do. People sometimes forget because as you go on in life, it's quick to write people off. But I just want to say thank you. There's a lot of people who still root for you, a lot of people who still cheer for you, and good luck the rest of the way, man.
Right, thank you all so much, Sean. Thanks for having me on the show, and thanks
No problem.
Barbados and Trinidad and all you fans looking on and all your support. It was great, and I enjoyed the show.
Thank you very much, Emmy
That's
Manson.
great, man.
Thank you,
All
man.
right,
The
Sean,
pleasure.
take care. Yeah, keep
All
in
right,
touch.
brother.
Give me a
Cool.
buzz.
Yeah,
All
man.
right,
Of course. All
have a
right,
blessed
brother.
night.
Derek, nice chatting with you. And
Same
everybody on
here.
the show. Cheers. Like you
Cheers,
say,
brother.
peace out.
Yes, I.
Bye.
Bye bye.
One love, man.
All right. The great Emile Ramsammy.
Yes, people got what they wanted because there's a lot of people who were saying they want to see Emile, and now they've gotten to see Emile. So um,
And
there you go.
what's more surprising is Emile talks a lot. I mean, I mean, all right. The most I've heard Emile Ramsammy talk 25 plus years I know him. It's true. Emmy's don't talk. That was I hear him talk myself, and I know him for more years than that. So I'm just happy that he's he's at the age now where he understands that it's good to hear greats like him have this say. You know what I mean? I really appreciate it. For he did this show, and it's something I remember forever, man. Because he's a guy that all of us in the islands looked up to because he was he wasn't like a Venice Richards or Charlie Jones because they were older guys. He was he started with us, he started with us, and it's to see any guy who started in our era. You like to see where they ended up and how well they've done. So cheers to Emil.
I know, you always, like for me growing up, you always hear Emile, you hear this, the names. So those are names that people gravitate to, and those are names that people don't forget. So it's good to see that he's still kicking it around. I hope that he's able to get through the season and the seasons safely because as you get older, the injuries don't get any easier. And we know with this game, they come injuries. And hopefully make it through safely.
At this age, you really can't afford to get injured. That's the truth. So I mean, he doesn't ride that much now, so that's a plus.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't, like it's less chances of him getting hurt. So we wish him well, though.
That's right. Well, on that note, that's our show. Is there anything you want to say before we leave?
That's it, man. All I can say is good luck to everybody for the rest of the week, and whatever will be, will be.
All right. As the words of De Silva, good luck to everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
Peace.
All right.